The laptop screen glowed in the empty office, displaying something that could destroy everything. Claire's hand trembled over the mouse as she stared at the intimate photo of her billionaire boss, a man she'd secretly loved for 3 years. Her heart hammered. She should close it, delete the history, pretend she never saw. But she couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then footsteps echoed in the hallway. The door handle turned. Ethan Calloway walked in, and their eyes met across the bright screen. In that single frozen moment, 3 years of perfect professionalism shattered like glass, and nothing would ever be the same again. Before we dive into this story, if you're enjoying the drama, hit that like button and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this tale travels. Now, let's begin. The Manhattan skyline bled orange through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Callaway Industries' executive floor, but Claire Monroe barely noticed. She'd seen that view 5 days a week for 2 years and 8 months, long enough that even billion-dollar sunsets lost their shine when you were drowning in spreadsheets and surviving on vending machine coffee. Her desk sat exactly 23 feet from Ethan Calloway's office door. She'd measured it once during a particularly boring conference call. Close enough to hear his voice through the walls, far enough to maintain the professional distance that kept her employed and relatively sane. Relatively being the key word, because sanity and working for Ethan Calloway existed in 2 different universes. "Claire, you still here?" Jessica from accounting stuck her head around the cubicle partition, already wearing her coat. "It's past 7. Presentation for Tokyo?" Claire gestured at her screen without looking up. "Needs to be perfect by morning." "Of course it does." Jessica's voice carried that mix of sympathy and judgment that Claire had grown used to. "You know he's not going to marry you just because you work yourself to death, right?" Claire's fingers froze over the keyboard. "Excuse me?" "Nothing. Forget it." Jessica disappeared, her heels clicking toward the elevator. The office fell silent except for the hum of Claire's computer and the distant sound of the cleaning crew starting their rounds on the lower floors. She rubbed her eyes, blinking at the presentation that had consumed her entire evening. 43 slides on market expansion strategies, each one color-coded and cross-referenced with supporting data. And every single one was on Ethan's laptop because he'd specifically requested she work from his system to access the encrypted files. Which meant she was currently sitting in his private office, in his chair, surrounded by the subtle scent of his cologne that clung to everything he touched. She told herself the flutter in her stomach was hunger. She'd skipped lunch. Again. The presentation looked solid, clean, professional, everything Ethan demanded and nothing he didn't. Claire saved the file and was about to close the laptop when an error message popped up. File sync failed. Cloud backup interrupted. She frowned. Ethan was obsessive about backups. If this presentation didn't sync properly and something happened to the laptop, she'd be redoing 43 slides from memory. She clicked to manually force the sync, and that's when the folder structure opened. The directories were labeled in Ethan's typical efficient style. Contracts, projections, legal, property. And then, at the bottom, a folder with no label, just a series of numbers. 082419, August 24th, 2019. Claire's hand hovered over the touchpad. This was none of her business. Whatever was in that folder had nothing to do with market expansion or Tokyo presentations or her job description. Close the laptop, walk away, go home to your studio apartment and your ramen noodles and pretend you never saw it. But her finger was already double-clicking. The folder opened, the photo filled the screen, and Claire's entire world tilted sideways. It was Ethan. Definitely Ethan. She'd recognize those shoulders anywhere, the specific angle of his jaw, the way his dark hair fell when he didn't have it styled into corporate perfection. But this wasn't the cold, untouchable billionaire who barely made eye contact in the elevator. This was something raw, intimate, vulnerable in a way that made her chest tighten and heat flood her face. She should close it, right now, this second. She didn't. Her eyes traced details she had no right to notice. The lighting was natural, golden, late afternoon maybe. The photo wasn't professional. This was personal, private, something he'd never intended for anyone else to see, especially not his assistant. "Oh my God," she whispered to the empty office. "Oh my God, what am I doing?" Close it, delete the history, clear the cache, pretend this never happened. Her hand moved toward the touchpad. The office door opened. Claire's head snapped up so fast her neck cracked. Ethan Calloway stood in the doorway, still in his suit jacket despite the late hour, a coffee cup in one hand and his phone in the other. His eyes moved from her face to the glowing laptop screen and back again. The silence stretched like pulled taffy, sticky and uncomfortable. Claire's voice came out strangled. The presentation. It was sinking. I didn't mean... Ethan's expression didn't change. That was somehow worse than anger. His face was perfectly blank, the same controlled mask he wore in board meetings when someone proposed something spectacularly stupid. He set the coffee cup down with careful precision. Get out. 2 words. Quiet, deadly calm. Claire scrambled out of his chair so fast she nearly knocked it over. Her hands shook as she grabbed her purse, her mind screaming at her to say something, explain, apologize. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, it was an accident. I was just trying to... Out. Still quiet. Still calm. But something flickered behind his eyes. Not anger. Something else. Something that made her stomach flip. Humiliation. She'd humiliated him. Claire ran. She didn't wait for the elevator, couldn't stand still for that long. She hit the stairs and didn't stop until she burst through the lobby doors into the cool September night, her breath coming in ragged gasps that had nothing to do with 9 flights of stairs. Her phone buzzed. Then again. Then continuously. She pulled it out with shaking hands. Jessica. Girl, what happened? Ethan just sent an email calling an emergency meeting for 8 a.m. tomorrow. Jessica. Entire executive team. Jessica. Claire, are you okay? Marcus, legal. Did you seriously just get caught doing something on Ethan's personal laptop? Kim, from IT, said he requested a full access log review. Jessica. Claire. Answer your phone. She turned the phone off. The next morning arrived too quickly, and not quickly enough. Claire had spent the entire night alternating between pacing her apartment and lying perfectly still, staring at her ceiling and mentally calculating exactly how screwed she was. Accessing an executive's private files, even accidentally, was grounds for immediate termination. Possibly legal action. At minimum, a non-disclosure agreement that would haunt her for the rest of her career. She'd Googled accidentally saw boss's private photos legal implications at 2 a.m. and found absolutely nothing helpful unless you counted the 17 different ways she could be sued. By the time she showered and put on her most professional navy dress, the one she saved for important meetings, she felt like she was dressing for her own funeral. The Callaway Industries building looked exactly the same as always, gleaming, imposing, completely indifferent to the fact that her life was imploding. Claire badged in at 7:43 a.m., 17 minutes early, because the thought of being late on top of everything else made her want to vomit. The executive floor was already buzzing. People clustered in small groups, voices low, glancing toward Ethan's office, where the blinds were uncharacteristically closed. Claire! Jessica materialized at her elbow. What the hell happened? Nobody knows anything except Ethan came in at 6 this morning looking like he wanted to burn the building down. I can't talk about it. Did you leak something? Kim said he's reviewing access logs. Jessica, please, Claire's voice cracked. I really can't. Her friend's expression shifted from curiosity to concern. Okay, but if you need anything, conference room, now. Marcus from legal appeared, looking grim. Everyone, Ethan's orders. The executive team filed into the glass-walled conference room with all the enthusiasm of people approaching a firing squad. Claire took a seat at the far end of the table, as far from the head as possible, and tried to make herself invisible. Ethan walked in at exactly 8 o'clock. He looked perfect. Because of course he did. Charcoal suit, navy tie, hair styled, not a single visible crack in his armor. His eyes swept the room and paused on Claire for exactly half a second before moving on. Half a second that felt like drowning. Thank you for coming on short notice. His voice was crisp, professional. We have a security issue that needs immediate addressing. Claire's fingernails dug into her palms. Last night, an employee accessed sensitive personal files on my laptop without authorization. He didn't look at her. I've asked Marcus to review our current data protection policies and implement additional safeguards. Effective immediately, all executive laptops will require biometric authentication for file access beyond designated work directories. Murmurs rippled around the table. Jessica shot Claire a wide-eyed look that said, "Was that you?" Additionally, Ethan continued, "I'm restructuring my immediate team. Claire Monroe will be transitioning to a new role." The bottom dropped out of Claire's stomach. "Wait." The word escaped before she could stop it. Ethan's eyes met hers. Something flickered in their depths. "You'll be working directly with the Tokyo expansion project. Congratulations. It's a promotion." Claire's brain stuttered. "A promotion? You've been managing the preliminary work. It makes sense for you to see it through. You'll have your own office, your own team, significant pay increase." His tone was absolutely neutral, unless you'd prefer to decline. Every eye in the room was on her. This wasn't a promotion. This was a removal, a clean, professional way to get her out of his immediate orbit without raising questions. He was protecting himself and making it look like a reward. Smart. Cold. Exactly what she should have expected from Ethan Calloway. "I accept," she heard herself say. "Thank you." "Good. HR will have the paperwork ready this afternoon." He turned back to the room. "Now, regarding the third quarter projections." The meeting continued. Claire heard none of it. She sat there, numb, watching Ethan command the room with the same effortless authority he always had, while her entire world rearranged itself around the enormous space that was about to open up between them. 3 years. She'd worked for him for 3 years, and it was ending because she'd seen a photo. The new office was on the 14th floor, smaller than Ethan's but still impressive. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a view of the East River, a desk that didn't have coffee stains, and a door that actually closed. Claire stood in the empty space and felt nothing. So this is where they exile people who see things they shouldn't. Jessica appeared in the doorway with a box of Claire's desk supplies. "Nice windows." "It's a promotion. It's a banishment." Jessica set the box down. "Everyone knows it. Half the office is gossiping about what you possibly could have found that made Ethan Calloway lose his mind." "I didn't find anything." "Claire, I can't talk about it." She turned away from the window. "I signed an NDA." That was a lie. She hadn't signed anything yet, but she would. Ethan's lawyers would make sure of that. Jessica was quiet for a moment. "Did he? Was it something bad? Like illegal?" "No. God, no, it was just—" Claire slumped into her new chair. "Personal, really personal. And I saw it by accident, and now everything is ruined." "Everything meaning? My job, my position, my—" She stopped herself. "It doesn't matter. Your feelings for him." Claire's head snapped up. "I don't—" "Please." Jessica crossed her arms. "You think people don't notice? The way you light up when he actually says good morning? How you stay late every night on the off chance he'll need something? Claire, honey, half the office has a running bet on when you'll finally do something about it." "There's nothing to do. He's my boss. Was my boss. And I just destroyed any possible—" Her voice broke. "It doesn't matter. It's over." Jessica moved around the desk and pulled her into a hug. "Men are idiots, even billionaire ones, especially billionaire ones." Claire let herself be held for exactly 10 seconds before pulling away. "I need to unpack. The Tokyo team meeting is in an hour, and I have no idea what I'm doing." "You'll figure it out. You always do." Jessica headed for the door, then paused. "For what it's worth, whatever you saw, it clearly mattered to him. People don't restructure their entire staff over nothing." She left before Claire could respond. The rest of the day passed in a blur of introductions and handshakes and trying to remember the names of her new team members. The Tokyo expansion project was massive. 3-year timeline, multi-million-dollar budget, partnerships with 6 different international firms. It should have been exciting. It felt like a consolation prize. By 6 p.m., Claire was alone in her new office, staring at a spreadsheet that might as well have been written in ancient Greek for all the sense it made. Her brain refused to focus. Every time she tried to concentrate, she saw that photo, Ethan's expression when he'd walked in and caught her, the careful blankness in his eyes during the meeting. "Get out." Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But habits from 3 years of being available 24/7 for Ethan died hard. Hello? Claire Monroe? A woman's voice. Smooth, professional, vaguely familiar. Yes? This is Vanessa Whitmore. I'm not sure if you remember me. Claire's grip tightened on the phone. She remembered. Vanessa Whitmore. Elegant, polished, had worked with Ethan 2 years ago on some corporate restructuring project. Rumors had swirled about whether they were involved, but nothing was ever confirmed. I remember, Claire said carefully. Wonderful. I'm calling because I'll be consulting with Callaway Industries for the next few months. I understand you're heading the Tokyo expansion. As of today, yes. Perfect. I'll be overseeing several international projects, including yours. I thought we should connect before the formal announcement tomorrow. A pause. I also heard about your promotion. Congratulations. It's quite a leap from executive assistant. There was something in her tone. Not quite accusatory, not quite friendly. Thank you, Claire managed. I'm sure you'll do wonderfully. Ethan has always had excellent judgment about people. Another pause. Most of the time. Well, I won't keep you. I'm sure you're busy settling in. We'll talk soon. The line went dead. Claire set her phone down and stared at it like it might explode. This was fine. Everything was fine. She had a promotion she didn't want, a project she wasn't qualified for, and now Ethan's ex-maybe girlfriend was going to be supervising her work. Fine, totally fine. Her computer pinged with a new email. From Ethan Callaway. To Claire Monroe. Subject: Transition. Claire, please ensure all pending projects from your previous role are properly documented and transferred by end of week. Your replacement will start Monday. Going forward, all communication should go through official channels. Direct contact will no longer be necessary. EC. She read it 3 times. Direct contact will no longer be necessary. 3 years of working side by side, learning his preferences, anticipating his needs, being the one person he trusted with everything from his calendar to his coffee order to the gate code for picking up his daughter from school. And now, no longer necessary. Claire closed her laptop before she did something stupid like respond. The days blurred together. Claire threw herself into the Tokyo project with the kind of manic energy that came from having no other outlet. She learned the names of her team members, studied market reports until her eyes crossed, attended video conferences with partners in different time zones at ungodly hours. And she never saw Ethan. The executive floor might as well have been on a different planet. Her new office was far enough away that she couldn't accidentally run into him in the hallway, couldn't hear his voice through the walls, couldn't catch glimpses of him through glass conference room doors. It should have been a relief. It felt like amputation. You look terrible, Marcus from legal informed her on Friday afternoon, appearing in her doorway with a folder. When's the last time you slept? What do you need, Marcus? NDA. He set the folder on her desk. Standard confidentiality agreement regarding your access to sensitive executive materials. Sign, date, return to HR. There it was. The official acknowledgement that she'd screwed up. Claire flipped through the pages. Dense legal language that basically boiled down to, tell anyone what you saw and we'll sue you into oblivion. This seems excessive for a sync error, she muttered. Ethan Callaway doesn't do anything by half measures. Marcus leaned against her doorframe. For what it's worth. He didn't fire you. That's something. He exiled me to another floor and banned direct contact. That's basically firing with extra steps. Or it's protecting you. Claire looked up sharply. What? Marcus shrugged. Think about it. You accessed something you shouldn't have. In any other company, you'd be gone. But instead, you got a promotion and a substantial raise. The NDA protects both of you. He can't be accused of retaliating against you, and you can't be accused of blackmail or harassment down the line. I would never. I know that you know that, but lawyers don't deal in trust. He straightened. Just sign the paperwork, Claire. Move on. This is probably the best outcome for everyone. He left. Claire stared at the NDA for a long time before signing it. Ajtasate. Vanessa Whitmore arrived on Monday like a force of nature wrapped in Chanel. She was exactly as Claire remembered. Tall, blonde, perfectly put together in that effortless way that came from having money and time and personal stylists. She swept into the Tokyo team meeting with a smile that didn't reach her eyes and immediately began dissecting their 3-month projections with surgical precision. These numbers are optimistic, she said, tapping a perfectly manicured nail against the presentation slide. Borderline unrealistic. Who compiled this data? I did, Claire said evenly, based on the market research from, I'm sure you worked very hard. Vanessa's smile was patronizing. But there's a difference between theoretical projections and practical implementation. You'll need to revise these before presenting to the board. The board already approved these projections. Did they? Vanessa's eyebrow arched. Or did Ethan approve them because you compiled them? The room went silent. Claire felt heat creep up her neck. I'm sorry? Nothing. Just an observation. Vanessa clicked to the next slide. Let's continue. The meeting lasted another excruciating hour. By the time everyone filed out, Claire's jaw ached from clenching it. Don't let her get to you, whispered David, one of her team analysts. She's been like this in every meeting. Someone said she and Ethan used to be involved. Ancient history, Claire said automatically. Maybe. David didn't sound convinced. But she's been up on the executive floor a lot, and I heard her mention having dinner with him last week. Claire's stomach twisted. That's none of my business. Right, of course, I just thought... David trailed off at her expression. Never mind. She made it back to her office before the professional mask cracked, sat at her desk, stared at her hands. Dinner. They'd had dinner. It shouldn't matter. Ethan could have dinner with whoever he wanted, could date whoever he wanted, could do whatever he wanted with his personal life because Claire was just an employee, not even his employee anymore, just someone who worked in the same building and occasionally got emails about project timelines. Her phone buzzed. Jessica. Emergency drinks, tonight, no excuses. I'm collecting you at 6. Claire. I have work. Jessica. You always have work, 6 p.m. I'll be at your office. Wear something that isn't navy blue. Claire almost argued, then looked at her reflection in the dark computer screen, pale, exhausted, drowning in a job that felt like running on a treadmill. Claire. Fine, but I'm leaving by 8. Jessica. We'll see about that. Ishalag. The bar was crowded and loud and exactly what Claire didn't want. But Jessica had a gift for ignoring Claire's preferences when she decided they weren't in Claire's best interest. Okay, Jessica said, sliding a gin and tonic across the table. Talk. About what? About why you look like you haven't slept in a week and you're about to cry into your spreadsheets. Jessica leaned forward. This is about more than the promotion. Claire took a long drink. Vanessa Whitmore is sabotaging me. The consultant? How? Undermining everything I present, questioning my data, making little comments about my relationship with Ethan in front of the team. She set the glass down too hard. And apparently she's having dinner with him. Ah, Jessica's expression turned knowing. So this is about jealousy. It's not... Claire stopped. Fine, maybe partly, but mostly it's about her making me look incompetent. Have you talked to Ethan? I can't. Direct contact is banned, remember? The words came out more bitter than she intended. Besides, what would I say? Your ex-girlfriend is mean to me, and also I still think about that photo I saw on your laptop? Jessica nearly choked on her drink. Photo? What photo? Claire's eyes widened. Nothing. Forget I said that. Oh my God, what kind of photo? Jessica, was it dirty? It was dirty. Claire Monroe, did you see Ethan Calloway's nudes? Keep your voice down, Claire hissed, looking around frantically. And it wasn't... it was private, okay? Very private. And I saw it by accident, and that's why everything is ruined. Jessica stared at her for a long moment, then started laughing. This isn't funny. It's hilarious. You accidentally saw your boss naked. I didn't say naked. And instead of being a normal person and pretending it never happened, both of you are acting like it's the end of the world. Jessica wiped her eyes. Claire? Honey? Men send intimate photos to people all the time. It's not that deep. It is when it's your boss and you've been secretly in love with him for 3 years. The words hung in the air. Jessica's smile faded into something softer. Oh, Claire, please don't do the pity thing. Claire finished her drink in one swallow. It doesn't matter. He made it very clear that what happened was unacceptable. I signed an NDA. I got transferred. It's over. Is it? Has to be. Does it? Jessica signaled for another round. Because from where I'm sitting, he didn't fire you. He promoted you. And he's restructuring his entire team to avoid you instead of just letting you go. That doesn't sound like a man who's over anything.
That sounds like a man protecting himself from a liability, or protecting himself from feelings he doesn't know how to handle. The bartender delivered fresh drinks. Ethan Calloway isn't exactly known for his emotional availability. Everyone knows he's been closed off since his divorce. What if seeing you see him, really see him, in that vulnerable moment, scared the hell out of him? Claire shook her head. You're reading into it. Maybe. Or maybe you're both idiots who need to have an actual conversation. Jessica raised her glass. But first we drink, because your life is a mess and my life is boring and at least your mess is entertaining. They clinked glasses. Claire's phone buzzed. She almost ignored it, but the name on the screen made her freeze. Ethan Calloway. Her heart stopped. She stared at the notification like it might bite her. Jessica peered over. Holy shit! What does it say? Claire opened the message with shaking hands. Need to discuss the Tokyo contract revisions. My office. Tomorrow. 9 a.m. That's it? Jessica frowned. That's so formal. He's my boss. He was your boss. Now he's just some guy you used to work for who you saw half naked and who can't stop thinking about you. You don't know that. Claire, he waited until after business hours to text you about a meeting. That's not professional. That's personal. Jessica grinned. This is going to get interesting. Claire reread the message 3 times. Direct contact will no longer be necessary, he'd written. And yet here he was, making contact. She typed out a response with fingers that wouldn't quite steady. I'll be there. The reply came instantly. Good. 1 word. But Claire felt it like a touch. Jessica was watching her with entirely too much interest. You're blushing. I'm not. You absolutely are. Oh my God, what are you going to wear? Jessica, it's a business meeting. Sure it is. Jessica's grin widened. And I'm the Queen of England. Drink up, Cinderella. Tomorrow, you're going back to the palace. Claire didn't sleep. She told herself it was because of the drinks. Then because her new apartment's heating was acting up. Then because she kept thinking about the Tokyo contract revisions that she hadn't actually received yet. But mostly, it was because of the way Ethan had written good. Like he was pleased she'd agreed. Like maybe this meeting was about more than contracts. She was setting herself up for disappointment. She knew that. Ethan Calloway didn't do feelings, didn't do messy. And what had happened between them was the definition of messy. Still, she spent 30 minutes choosing an outfit, the gray dress that was professional but fitted. Subtle makeup, hair down instead of pulled back. This is stupid, she told her reflection. You're being stupid. Her reflection didn't argue. Jessica texted at 8:30. Jessica. Good luck. Try not to jump him in his office. Claire. I hate you. Jessica. No, you don't. Update me immediately after. Claire turned her phone off. The executive floor felt foreign now. She'd spent 3 years navigating these hallways, but 2 weeks away had turned her into a visitor. The receptionist gave her a curious look but didn't stop her. Ethan's office door was closed. Claire stood outside it for a full minute, hand raised to knock, heart trying to break out of her chest. This was ridiculous. She was a professional. This was a business meeting. She could handle this. She knocked. Come in. His voice hit her like a physical thing. How had she forgotten what he sounded like? Deep, controlled, with that slight rough edge that came through when he was tired or angry or... Stop it. Claire opened the door. Ethan was standing by the windows, backlit by morning sun, and for one disorienting second she was looking at the photo again. Same shoulders, same profile, same man. But when he turned to face her, his expression was unreadable. Claire, sit. She sat, hands folded, professional. Ethan moved to his desk but didn't sit, just stood there, studying her in a way that made her skin feel too tight. The Tokyo contract, he finally said. Right, the revisions. Claire pulled out her tablet, grateful for something to focus on besides his eyes. I have the updated projections ready. There are no revisions. Her head snapped up.
What?
The contract is fine. I approved it last week. He was still watching her. This meeting isn't about Tokyo. Claire's mouth went dry. Then what? We need to talk. Actually talk. Not through emails or official channels or with lawyers present. He moved around the desk, closer. About what happened. I signed the NDA. I don't care about the NDA. His voice was rough now. I care that you won't look at me. That you've been avoiding the executive floor. That you think I promoted you to get rid of you. Didn't you? The question came out sharper than she intended.
Ethan's jaw tightened. I promoted you because you deserved it. Because you've been doing the work of 3 people for 2 years and getting paid like an assistant. The timing was unfortunate, but the decision was overdue. And the ban on direct contact was a mistake. Claire blinked. Ethan Calloway didn't admit mistakes. He sank into his chair and ran a hand through his hair, ruining the perfect style. It made him look younger, more human. I panicked. You saw something private, something I never intended anyone to see. And instead of handling it like an adult, I tried to create distance. You were protecting yourself, Claire said quietly. I understand. Do you? He leaned forward. Because I'm not sure I do. I've been trying to figure out why it bothered me so much. It was just a photo. Embarrassing, yes, but not worth burning down 3 years of... He stopped. Of working together. The pause before working together was significant. Claire's heart was doing complicated things. Ethan, let me finish. Please. He took a breath. The photo itself wasn't the problem. The problem was you seeing it, you specifically, because it meant you saw me. Actually saw me. Not the version I present at work, not the controlled professional mask, just me. The air between them felt charged. And that terrified me, he continued, because I've spent 3 years pretending I don't notice you. Don't look forward to Monday mornings because it means you'll be at your desk. Don't stay late hoping you'll still be here. Don't care that you take your coffee with too much cream and that you bite your pen when you're concentrating and that you wear this specific perfume that makes me completely lose my train of thought. Claire couldn't breathe. I told myself it was inappropriate, Ethan said. You worked for me. There was a power imbalance. I couldn't pursue anything without putting you in an impossible position. So I kept my distance, stayed professional, pretended these feelings didn't exist. His eyes met hers. And then you saw that photo, and I realized the distance wasn't working, because you looked at me like... Like what? Her voice barely worked. Like you saw me, too. The silence stretched. Claire's hands were shaking. I did. I do. I have for a long time. Something cracked in Ethan's expression. How long? Since the Christmas party, 3 years ago. You were talking to your daughter on the phone, telling her about Santa, and your whole face changed. You weren't the billionaire CEO. You were just a dad who loved his kid. And I thought... She swallowed. I thought that's who you really are, under everything else. Ethan stood, moved around the desk, stopped close enough that Claire had to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. That photo, he said quietly, was taken by someone I was seeing, casually. It ended badly. I kept the file because I'm an idiot who doesn't clean out old folders. But when you saw it, all I could think was that you'd assume I was someone I'm not. Someone who shares those things carelessly, and I needed you not to think that. I didn't. I don't. Claire stood too, bringing them almost chest to chest. I thought it was beautiful. I thought you were... She caught herself. What? Human. Vulnerable. Real. The words tumbled out. Everything you never let anyone see at work, and I know I had no right to look. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry I saw who you are when the walls come down. Ethan's hand came up slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His fingers brushed her jaw, and the touch sent electricity down her spine. This is a terrible idea, he murmured. Probably. You could sue me. HR would have a field day. I could. I won't. I'm your boss. You promoted me. I'm a department head now. Technically, we're peers. His thumb traced her cheekbone. That's a stretch. I'm very flexible. The corner of his mouth quirked, almost a smile. Claire,
If you're going to talk yourself out of this, do it now, she whispered. Because if you kiss me, I'm not going to be professional about it. Good. He kissed her. It wasn't professional, wasn't careful. It was 3 years of tension igniting all at once. His hands cupped her face and hers fisted in his shirt, and the world narrowed to the taste of him, coffee and mint, and something uniquely Ethan. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Claire's back was against his desk and her carefully pinned hair was coming loose. "We can't do this here," Ethan managed. "Why not?" Glass walls, security cameras. Janine from HR walks by at 9:30 every morning. It's 9:42. Shit. He pulled back, running both hands through his hair. Okay, we need to think about this. I've been thinking about it for 3 years. Claire? His voice was strained. I have a daughter, a company, responsibilities. If we do this, it can't be casual. I don't do casual, especially not with you. Her heart was going to break her ribs. What are you saying? I'm saying if we're doing this, we're doing it right. Dinner, actual dates, meeting Emma properly, not just in passing, figuring out how to navigate this without destroying both our careers. He caught her hands. I'm saying I want this, want you, but I need to know you understand what you're getting into. A relationship with my former boss who has a kid and trust issues? Among other complications. Claire stepped closer again. I've been drowning in debt and working myself to death for 3 years just to stay close to you. I memorized your coffee order and learned your schedule and never took vacation because I couldn't stand the thought of someone else being your assistant. So yes, Ethan, I understand exactly what I'm getting into. His eyes darkened. You really are going to ruin me. Promise? He kissed her again, softer this time, but somehow more devastating. When they separated, he was smiling, actually smiling. Claire had seen him smile in meetings, at clients, at his daughter. But this was different. This was real. Dinner, he said. Tonight. Somewhere not connected to work. What about Emma? She's with my parents this weekend, so it's just us. His thumb brushed her wrist. And Claire, wear something that isn't navy blue. She laughed. Actually laughed. Did Jessica tell you to say that? Jessica has been conspiring against us for months. She cornered me last week and told me I was an idiot. He pulled her close again. She wasn't wrong. She's going to be insufferable when she finds out. Let her. He pressed his forehead to hers. I don't care who knows. I'm done pretending. A knock on the door sent them jumping apart like teenagers. Ethan? Vanessa's voice. Are you ready for the board review? Claire's eyes widened. Ethan swore under his breath. 1 minute, he called. Then, quieter, to Claire. Tonight. 7. I'll text you the address. Okay. And Claire? He caught her hand as she moved toward the door. Whatever Vanessa says in this meeting, ignore it. She doesn't get a vote in this. Before Claire could ask what he meant, the door opened. Vanessa stood there, perfect as always, her eyes moving from Ethan to Claire and back again. Something cold flickered across her expression. Claire, I didn't realize you'd be joining us. She's not, Ethan said smoothly. We were just finishing. Claire slipped past Vanessa, her heart still racing, lips still tingling. She made it to the elevator before her phone buzzed. Ethan, tonight can't come fast enough. She smiled at her phone like an idiot, then noticed Vanessa watching her from across the floor, eyes narrowed, expression calculating. The smile faded. Something told Claire that tonight was just the beginning, and not everyone was going to be happy about it. Claire barely made it back to her office before Jessica appeared like a materializing ghost, eyes wide with anticipation. Well? Well, what? Claire tried to sound casual while her entire body was still vibrating from Ethan's kiss. Don't even try that with me. You were up there for 40 minutes. The Tokyo contract takes 5 minutes to discuss. Jessica shut the door behind her and leaned against it. Spill. Claire sank into her chair, pressing her fingers to her lips. They still felt warm. We talked. And? And we're having dinner tonight. Jessica's squeal could have shattered glass. I knew it. I told you he was into you. What did he say? How did it happen? Did he kiss you? Jessica, he totally kissed you. Oh my God, your face is doing that thing. What thing?
That thing where you're trying not to smile but failing miserably. Jessica dropped into the chair across from her. Okay, tell me everything. Start to finish. Leave nothing out. So Claire did. Not everything. Some things were too private, too raw, but enough. The way Ethan had admitted he'd been pretending for 3 years. The way his voice had dropped when he said her name. The kiss that had made her forget where they were. When she finished, Jessica was grinning like she'd won the lottery. This is the best thing that's happened in this office since Marcus accidentally sent that email to the entire company instead of his boyfriend. This is terrifying, Claire corrected. What if it doesn't work out? What if HR finds out? What if it's amazing and you're finally happy for once in your life? Jessica stood. Stop catastrophizing. You have a date with a billionaire who's been pining for you for 3 years. Go buy a dress that isn't from a clearance rack, and for once in your life, just enjoy something. After Jessica left, Claire tried to focus on work. She really did, but her brain kept replaying the morning on an endless loop. The way Ethan had looked at her, touched her. The rasp in his voice when he'd said her name. Her phone buzzed. Ethan. Had to reschedule the board meeting. Couldn't focus. Your fault. She bit her lip to keep from smiling. Claire. Unprofessional. Ethan. You're one to talk. I can still feel your hands in my shirt. Heat flooded her face even though she was alone. Claire. We're supposed to be maintaining boundaries at work. Ethan. Then stop texting me. Claire. You texted me first. Ethan. Technicality. 7 p.m. Don't be late. She wasn't going to survive this. 3 years of careful distance and now they were flirting over text like teenagers. It was reckless and stupid, and she couldn't stop smiling. The afternoon crawled by. Claire attended 2 virtual meetings where she contributed absolutely nothing useful, reviewed reports she'd have to reread later, and changed her dinner outfit choice 4 times in her head. At 5:30, she was packing up when her office phone rang. Internal line. Claire Monroe. Claire, it's Vanessa. That smooth voice, friendly on the surface. Do you have a moment? I'd like to discuss the Tokyo projections. Every instinct screamed, no. I'm actually heading out. It'll only take a minute. I'm in conference room B. The line went dead. Claire stared at the phone. She could ignore it. Pretend she'd already left. But that would just postpone the inevitable, and Vanessa was technically overseeing her project. She grabbed her tablet and headed to conference room B. Vanessa was standing by the windows, silhouetted against the late afternoon sun. She turned when Claire entered, and her smile was perfectly pleasant. Thank you for making time. I know you're busy. What did you need to discuss? The projections you presented last week. Vanessa gestured to a chair. Sit, please. Claire remained standing. Is there a problem with the numbers? Not the numbers. The source. Vanessa tilted her head. Some of this data came from files that required executive clearance. I'm curious how you accessed them. Claire's stomach tightened. Ethan gave me clearance when I was his assistant. The permissions were never revoked. Interesting. And does he know you're still accessing his private files? They're not private. They're company files related to international expansion. Of course. Vanessa's smile didn't waver. I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I just wouldn't want there to be any confusion about boundaries, especially given your recent NDA. The words landed like a slap. Claire kept her voice level. If you have concerns about my data access, you should take them to IT. Oh, I'm not concerned, just curious. Vanessa moved closer. You know, Ethan mentioned you'd been having trouble adjusting to your new role. I told him I'd keep an eye on you, make sure you're settling in properly. That's not necessary. I think it is. Ethan tends to be overly generous with people he's fond of. Sometimes that generosity gets misinterpreted. Her eyes were sharp. I'd hate to see you put yourself in an uncomfortable position. Claire's hands clenched around her tablet. What exactly are you implying? Nothing at all. Just friendly advice. Vanessa checked her watch. I won't keep you. I'm sure you have plans. Ethan mentioned having dinner tonight. I assumed it was with you, but perhaps I was wrong? The room tilted slightly. He told you about dinner? We talk about everything. We always have. Vanessa's smile was sympathetic now. I know this is awkward. The history between Ethan and me is complicated, but we've remained close.
He values my perspective on both business and personal matters. Claire felt like she was standing on crumbling ground. I should go. Of course. Oh, and Claire, Vanessa called as she reached the door. That NDA you signed? It covers all private information about Ethan, not just photos. I'd be very careful about discussing his personal life with anyone. The legal implications could be severe. Claire left without responding. Her hands were shaking by the time she reached the elevator. This was fine. Vanessa was just being territorial, trying to rattle her. It didn't mean anything, except Ethan had told Vanessa about their dinner, had discussed Claire with her, and Vanessa clearly knew about the photo, which meant Ethan had told her that too. How much had he shared? Her phone buzzed. Ethan, change of plans. Can you meet me at my place instead? Something came up with Emma's pickup schedule. Claire, is everything okay? Ethan, fine, just complicated. I'll explain tonight. Address is 432 Park Avenue, penthouse level. Doorman will send you up. Claire stared at the message. His place. Not a restaurant. Not neutral territory. His home. Where his daughter lived. Claire, are you sure? I don't want to intrude. Ethan, you're not. Emma's curious about you anyway. She keeps asking about Daddy's friend who knows his calendar. Despite everything, that made her smile. Claire, okay. What time? Ethan, 7 still works. And Claire, ignore whatever Vanessa said to you. Her blood went cold. Claire, how did you know she talked to me? Ethan, because I know Vanessa. She's been asking questions about you all week. Whatever she implied, it's not true. Claire, what's not true? The typing indicator disappeared, appeared again. Ethan, we'll talk tonight, face to face. That didn't sound ominous at all. Claire went home, showered, changed into a dress that wasn't navy blue, deep green, fitted, the nicest thing she owned, and tried not to spiral into anxiety. Jessica called at 6:30. Okay, I know you're probably panicking, so I'm calling to tell you to stop. I'm not panicking. You're absolutely panicking. I can hear it in your voice. What happened? Claire told her about Vanessa, the thinly veiled warnings, the implication that Ethan had shared details about their situation. That woman is a snake, Jessica said flatly. She's trying to get in your head. It's working. Don't let it. Ethan chose you. He kissed you. He invited you to his home to meet his daughter. Those aren't the actions of a man playing games. But what if... No, what ifs. You're going to that penthouse, you're going to have dinner with the man you've been crazy about for 3 years, and you're going to let yourself be happy, even if it's just for one night. Claire took a shaky breath. What if I screw this up? Then you screw it up. But at least you'll know you tried. Jessica's voice softened. You deserve this, Claire. Stop talking yourself out of it. The Uber dropped her off at 432 Park Avenue at exactly 7 o'clock. The building was one of those impossibly tall, impossibly expensive towers that pierced the Manhattan skyline like a glass needle. The doorman checked her ID, made a call, and directed her to a private elevator that required a key card. Mr. Calloway is expecting you, penthouse level. The elevator rose so smoothly Claire barely felt it move. Her reflection stared back at her from the mirrored walls, pale, nervous, completely out of her depth. The doors opened directly into the apartment. Not an apartment, a penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, minimalist furniture that probably cost more than her annual salary, art on the walls that looked like it belonged in museums. And Ethan, standing in the open kitchen, wearing jeans and a dark sweater instead of his usual suit. He looked different, softer, more like the man in the photo than the CEO in the boardroom. Hi, he said, and even that single word sounded nervous. Hi. They stared at each other for a beat too long. Daddy? Is that Claire? A small voice from somewhere deeper in the penthouse. Then footsteps, and a girl of about 7 appeared, dark hair and pigtails, wearing pajamas covered in stars. Emma. Claire had seen her in photos on Ethan's desk, picked her up from school twice when Ethan was stuck in meetings. But this was different. This was meeting her as someone who mattered. Hi, Emma, Claire said, crouching down to her level. Those are great pajamas. They glow in the dark. Want to see?
Emma grabbed her hand without waiting for an answer and dragged her down the hallway to a bedroom that looked like a princess castle had exploded. Look, if we turn off the lights...
Emma. Ethan appeared in the doorway. Claire just got here. Maybe give her a chance to breathe?
It's okay, Claire said quickly. I'd love to see. Emma beamed and hit the light switch. The pajamas glowed bright green, along with stars stuck all over the ceiling and a mobile hanging above the bed. Wow, Claire breathed. That's amazing. Daddy put up all the stars. It took forever. Emma turned the lights back on. Are you having dinner with us?
Just with me, Ethan said. You already ate, remember?
Yeah, but I wanted mac and cheese and you made the boring pasta. Emma wrinkled her nose. Claire, do you like mac and cheese? I love mac and cheese. See, Daddy? Normal people like mac and cheese. Ethan sighed, but he was smiling. Claire is a guest. We're having grown-up food. Boring. Emma turned back to Claire. Do you work with Daddy? I used to work for him. Now I work in a different department. Did he fire you? He fired his last assistant because she kept crying in the bathroom. Emma! Ethan looked mortified. What? You did. You said she wasn't a good fit. Claire bit back a laugh. He didn't fire me. He promoted me. Because you're better at your job? I hope so. Emma studied her seriously. Daddy talks about you a lot. He says you're really smart and you remember everything. Ethan cleared his throat. Okay, bedtime. Say goodnight to Claire. But it's only 7:30. Bedtime. Now. Emma groaned but hugged Claire quickly before running off. Ethan pinched the bridge of his nose. I'm sorry. She has no filter. She's perfect, Claire said honestly. And terrifying. Does she always interrogate your dinner guests? I don't usually have dinner guests. He gestured back toward the kitchen. Come on. I promised you food. The kitchen was open to a living room with windows that made Claire feel like she was floating above the city. Ethan had set the table by those windows, actual china, cloth napkins, candles that weren't lit yet. This is too much, Claire said. It's dinner. This is a production. I wanted it to be nice. He pulled out her chair. I spent 3 years having coffee with you in the break room at midnight. I think I can manage one proper dinner. Claire sat. You noticed those late nights? I noticed everything. Ethan moved to the stove where something was simmering. The coffee, the way you organized files, how you always had a backup plan for my backup plan, the fact that you never took vacation because you didn't trust anyone else to keep things running. That's not why. It's exactly why. He plated food with surprising competence. Risotto, roasted vegetables, perfectly cooked salmon. You didn't trust anyone else because you cared too much. About the work. About the company. He set the plate in front of her. About me. Their eyes met. I did, Claire admitted. I do. Ethan sat across from her. Vanessa talked to you today. Not a question. She implied you discussed our situation with her, that you told her about the photo and the dinner, and Claire pushed food around her plate. She made it sound like you two were close. Are close. We're not. She said you value her perspective on personal matters. That's a lie. Ethan set down his fork. Vanessa and I dated, briefly, 2 years ago. It ended badly because she wanted something I couldn't give her. Since then, she's tried multiple times to rekindle things. I've said no every time. Then why is she here? Because the board hired her before I could veto it. She's good at her job. Excellent, actually. And her contract is already signed. His jaw tightened. But her being here has nothing to do with us. I didn't tell her about our dinner. I didn't discuss the photo. She's guessing, fishing for information. She knew we were meeting tonight. Because she was in my office when I texted you and saw your name on my phone screen. Ethan reached across the table, catching her hand. Claire, look at me. She did. I don't want Vanessa. I haven't wanted her in 2 years. The only person I want is sitting across from me right now, panicking over nothing. It's not nothing. She's trying to sabotage me. I know, and I'll handle it. His thumb brushed her knuckles. But you need to trust me. Can you do that? Claire wanted to. She really did. But trust had never come easily to her, and Vanessa's words had burrowed under her skin like splinters. I'm trying, she said finally. That's all I'm asking. They ate. The food was incredible, and Claire barely tasted it.
The conversation drifted to safer topics: Emma's school, the Tokyo project, a movie Claire had mentioned wanting to see 3 months ago that Ethan had apparently remembered. But Vanessa's presence hung between them like smoke. Finally, Claire set down her wine glass. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Why did you keep that photo? If things ended badly with her, why keep it?" Ethan was quiet for a long moment. "Honestly, I forgot it existed. It was in a backup folder from an old phone. I should have deleted it years ago, but after you saw it—" He paused. "Part of me was glad, because it meant you knew I'm not just the person I am at work, that there's more to me than spreadsheets and strategy. I've always known that." "Have you?" He stood, moving to the window. "Because I've spent 3 years being your boss first and a person second, keeping distance, maintaining boundaries, and I'm realizing now that maybe I was protecting myself more than you." Claire joined him at the window. Below them, the city sprawled in every direction, millions of lights in the darkness. "Protected from what?" "From this." He turned to face her. "From wanting someone who could hurt me. From letting someone close enough to see the parts of me that aren't impressive or powerful or controlled." His hand came up, tucking hair behind her ear. "From falling for someone who could walk away and take everything with her." Claire's breath caught. "I'm not going anywhere." "You don't know that. You barely know me outside of work. I know you put glow stars on your daughter's ceiling. I know you make proper risotto instead of ordering takeout. I know you remembered a movie I mentioned once in passing." She stepped closer. "And I know the way you kiss me makes me forget to breathe." His eyes darkened. "Claire, no, let me finish." She pressed a hand to his chest, felt his heart racing under her palm. "I've spent 3 years learning you. How you take your coffee. That you pace when you're thinking. That you hide your smile when Emma calls during meetings. That you care about this company and the people in it more than you'll ever admit. So don't tell me I don't know you. That's not the same as..." "As what? Dating you? Being with you?" She met his gaze steadily. "You're right. I don't know that version yet, but I want to learn, if you'll let me." The distance between them disappeared. His hands framed her face, and he kissed her the way he had that morning, desperate, like he was trying to memorize her through touch alone. When they broke apart, he rested his forehead against hers. "This is insane." "Probably. We work together. There are policies, complications." "I know. If this doesn't work, then it doesn't work." Claire's fingers curled into his sweater. "But I'd rather try and fail than spend the rest of my life wondering what if." He kissed her again, softer this time. "Stay." "What?" "Stay tonight, not..." He caught himself. "Emma's here. I just mean, stay. Talk to me. Help me put her to bed, and then we can watch a movie or just sit or whatever. I don't want you to leave yet." Claire's heart did something complicated. "Okay." They put Emma to bed together. Well, Ethan did most of it while Claire sat in the glowing star chair and listened to him read a story about dragons and princesses who saved themselves. Emma fell asleep halfway through, one hand curled under her cheek. "She likes you," Ethan whispered as they left the room. "How can you tell?" "She asked if you were my girlfriend. I told her it was complicated. She said I always make things complicated and I should just be nice to you." He shook his head. Relationship advice from a 7-year-old. Smart kid. They ended up on the couch, Claire tucked against his side, some action movie playing on the massive TV that neither of them watched. It felt domestic, normal, like they'd done this 1,000 times before. "Can I ask you something?" Claire said eventually. "Hmm?" "The photo. The one I saw." She felt him tense slightly. "You said it was from someone you were seeing. Was it Vanessa?" "No, someone before her. It doesn't matter who." "It matters if she knows about it." Ethan pulled back to look at her. "She doesn't. The only people who know are you, me, and Marcus from legal, who had to review the NDA. That's it." "Then how did she..." "She's guessing, making assumptions, trying to create doubt." His hand found hers. "Don't let her." Claire wanted to believe him, but something in Vanessa's eyes that afternoon had been too knowing, too certain. Her phone buzzed. She'd silenced it earlier, but the screen lit up with a notification. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. Then saw the preview of the message, and her blood went cold. Unknown. You should ask Ethan about August 24th, 2019. Ask him who really took that photo. Ask him why he's lying to you. Ethan noticed her expression. What's wrong? Claire handed him the phone. His face went carefully blank as he read the message. Then he stood, crossed to the window, and stared out at the city for a long moment. Ethan? It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. He turned back to her. The photo was taken by someone I was seeing casually. Very casually, one night. It ended because she wanted more and I didn't. That's the truth. So why is someone texting me about it? Because Vanessa is trying to make you doubt me. To create distance. She probably sent that from a burner phone. You don't know that. Who else would it be? His voice was rising slightly. Who else knows about that date? About the photo? About any of this? Claire stood too. You tell me, because someone clearly knows more than you're saying. I'm telling you everything. Are you? The words came out sharper than she intended. Because I've been here for 3 hours, and I still don't know who took that photo or why you really kept it or what Vanessa actually knows. I told you. You told me pieces, fragments, just enough to make me feel like I'm being paranoid when I ask questions. She grabbed her purse. I should go. Claire, don't do this. Do what? Ask for honesty? Want to actually know the person I'm apparently dating now? You do know me, I know who you are at work. I'm starting to know this version. She gestured at the apartment, at him in his casual clothes. But there's clearly a whole other part you're not showing me, a part that Vanessa seems to know all about. Ethan's jaw clenched. You're letting her win. Maybe I am, or maybe I'm protecting myself from getting involved with someone who still has too many secrets. Claire moved toward the elevator. Thank you for dinner. Claire, I need space to think, to figure out if I'm making a huge mistake. The elevator doors opened. She stepped inside. Ethan caught the door. It was Vanessa. The photo. She took it. The world tilted. What? 2 years ago. We'd been seeing each other for a few weeks. It was casual, fun. Then she started pushing for more, wanting to meet Emma, talking about the future. I ended it. His voice was flat. She didn't take it well. Started showing up at my office, calling constantly. I had to threaten legal action before she finally backed off. Claire's mind was reeling. And the photo was her insurance, her way of keeping a connection. I thought I'd deleted all of them, but clearly missed that folder. He released the elevator door. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to know how bad it got, how obsessive she became. I wanted to handle it myself. By letting her work here? Oversee my projects? I didn't have a choice. The board hired her before I knew, and firing her now would raise questions I can't answer without violating your NDA. He stepped into the elevator with her. I know this looks bad. I know you have every reason to walk away, but please, give me a chance to fix this. The doors started to close. Claire hit the button to hold them. How? I'll tell the board about us. Make it official. Put everything out in the open so Vanessa can't use it against either of us. His eyes were desperate. I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't leave. Claire's finger hovered over the lobby button. I need time. How much time? I don't know, a day, 2. Her voice cracked. I've wanted this for so long, and now that I have it, I'm terrified it's all going to fall apart because of her. It won't. I won't let it. You can't control everything, Ethan. Watch me. Despite everything, that pulled a tiny smile from her. I'll call you, tomorrow, after I've had time to think. Promise? Promise. She stepped back, released the door. This time he let it close. The elevator descended, and with every floor, Claire's resolve wavered. She should go back up, should let him explain more, should trust that he'd handle Vanessa. But Vanessa's text was still on her phone, still implying Ethan was lying. And Claire had spent too many years trusting the wrong people to ignore red flags. Her phone buzzed again as she hit the lobby. Ethan, I love you. 3 words, simple, devastating. Ethan, I know it's too soon to say that. I know we've barely started this, but I've been in love with you for longer than I can remember, and I need you to know that before you decide to walk away. Claire stood in the marble lobby, staring at her phone, tears blurring her vision. The doorman coughed politely. Miss, are you all right? She wasn't. She was standing in a Billionaire's lobby at 8:30 on a Friday night, crying over texts from a man she'd loved in secret for 3 years. Nothing about this was all right. But maybe that was okay. She typed out a response with shaking hands. Claire, I love you too, and that's why this is so scary. Ethan, scariest thing I've ever done, Claire. Tomorrow. We'll figure this out tomorrow. Ethan, tomorrow. Claire walked out into the cool night air and hailed a cab. Her phone buzzed one more time. Another unknown number. Unknown. He's going to break your heart, just like he broke mine. You think you're special, but you're not. You're just convenient. She deleted it without responding, but the words followed her all the way home. Claire didn't sleep that night. She lay in her small apartment staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every look, every moment with Ethan and Vanessa until the words blurred together into meaningless noise. By morning, she'd convinced herself to walk away at least 6 times. By the time she showered and made coffee, she'd talked herself back into trusting him 4 times. When her phone buzzed at 7 a.m., she'd landed on a fragile middle ground that felt like standing on cracking ice. Ethan, good morning. Can we talk? Claire, I'm awake. Ethan, in person? She hesitated, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Meeting him in person meant looking into his eyes while he explained things, meant being close enough to smell his cologne and remember how his hands felt on her face, meant her resolve would crumble the second he touched her. Claire, coffee shop, neutral territory. Ethan, name the place. She picked a spot 3 blocks from her apartment, far enough from Callaway Industries that they wouldn't run into anyone from work. When she arrived at 8, Ethan was already there, sitting in the back corner wearing sunglasses indoors like he was trying not to be recognized. You look like you're hiding from the paparazzi, Claire said, sliding into the seat across from him. I'm hiding from Vanessa. She's been calling all morning. He pushed the sunglasses up. His eyes were bloodshot. Did you get more texts? 3 more, all from different numbers, all saying basically the same thing. Let me see them. Claire pulled out her phone and handed it over. Ethan's jaw clenched tighter with each message he read. This is harassment. We can take this to the police. And tell them what? That your ex-girlfriend is mad you're dating your former assistant? Claire took her phone back. That'll go great. She's not my girlfriend. I know, but that's how it'll look. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup even though it was too hot to drink. Ethan, I need you to be completely honest with me. Is there anything else I should know about you and Vanessa? Any other secrets waiting to blow up? He was quiet for a long moment, too long. Ethan, after I ended things with her, she threatened to go to the board, said I'd made promises about promoting her, giving her contracts. None of it was true, but she had texts that could be taken out of context, dinner invitations that looked like business meetings, photos of us together that she could spin however she wanted. Claire's stomach dropped. What did you do? I paid her, not directly, through a consulting contract that was absurdly generous for the actual work she did. He rubbed his face. It was easier than fighting, cleaner, and it got her out of my life. Until the board hired her back. Until the board hired her back, he agreed. I didn't know they were even considering her until the contract was already signed. By then it was too late to object without explaining why. So she has leverage, financial leverage. Had. The contract was fulfilled. The money's been paid. She has nothing on me anymore except old photos and knowledge about my personal life. His hand found hers across the table. Claire, I know this looks bad. I know I should have told you all of this last night, but I was trying to protect you from the messy parts. I don't need protecting. I need honesty. I'm being honest now. Are you? She pulled her hand back. Because I feel like I'm getting pieces again. Carefully edited pieces that make you look better than the full truth probably does. That's not... Did you love her? The question hung between them. Ethan's expression shuddered. What? Vanessa? Did you love her? No, it was casual. I told you that. Casual doesn't usually end with payoffs and harassment. Casual doesn't usually involve someone becoming this obsessed. Claire leaned forward. So I'm asking you again. Did you love her? I thought I might. For about a week. Before I realized she was in love with the idea of me, not the actual person. He met her eyes. Nothing like what I feel for you. How do I know that?
How do I know a month from now you won't decide I'm in love with the idea of you, too?
But there's some.
Zzzt. Because you've seen the worst of me and you're still here. Vanessa only wanted the billionaire, the power, the lifestyle. You wanted the guy who stays late reading market reports and forgets to eat lunch. His voice dropped. You wanted me before you knew how much money I had, before you knew about the penthouse or the company or any of it. That was true. Claire had fallen for him, watching him pace his office on conference calls, listening to him talk about his daughter, noticing the way he treated people who couldn't do anything for him. I did, she said quietly. I do. Then trust that. Trust us. He reached for her hand again. This time she let him take it. I'm going to handle Vanessa. I'm going to the board Monday morning and telling them everything. The harassment, the texts, all of it. They'll ask why she's targeting you. And I'll tell them about us. Make it official. Put it on record so she can't twist it into something it's not. Claire's heart kicked. You'd do that? Risk the board's reaction? For you? Yes. He squeezed her hand. I've spent 2 years being careful, being controlled, protecting the company's image and my reputation and Emma's privacy. But I'm done letting fear make my decisions. I want this. I want you. And I'm willing to fight for it. She believed him. That was the terrifying part. She looked into his eyes and believed every word. Okay, she said. Okay, we do this together. Whatever happens. The relief on his face was palpable. He brought her hand to his lips, kissed her knuckles. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I'm still mad you didn't tell me all this last night. Noted. I'll add it to the list of things I need to apologize for. He checked his watch. I have to go pick up Emma from my parents. Do you want to come? To meet your parents? They've met you before, when you filled in at Emma's school pickup that time. That's different from meeting them as your girlfriend. So you're my girlfriend now. Heat crept up her neck. I don't know. Am I? I'd like you to be, if that's something you want. Claire tried not to smile, failed completely. Yeah, okay, I want that. Ethan's answering smile was devastating. Good. So come meet my parents properly, as my girlfriend. They'll love you. She wasn't sure about that, but she let him pull her to her feet and out of the coffee shop. His hand stayed linked with hers all the way to his car, a sleek black sedan that probably cost more than her entire life savings. Does this thing fly? She asked, running her hand over the hood. Only on weekends. He opened the passenger door for her. Come on. My mother gets cranky if I'm late. The drive to his parents' place took 30 minutes, leading them to a brownstone in the West Village that was somehow both understated and clearly worth millions. Ethan's mother answered the door before they'd even knocked, as if she'd been watching for the car. You're late, she said, but she was smiling. Then her eyes landed on Claire, and the smile shifted into something more knowing. And you brought Claire. Mom, you remember. Of course I remember. The assistant who actually keeps your schedule straight. She pulled Claire into a hug before Claire could react. I'm Margaret, and you can call me Maggie. Everyone does. It's nice to officially meet you, Claire managed. Emma's been talking about you all weekend. Come in, come in. Maggie ushered them inside to a home that was warm and cluttered in a way Ethan's sterile penthouse wasn't. Photos covered every surface. Books overflowed from shelves. A cat wound around Claire's ankles immediately. That's Fitzgerald, Maggie said. He likes everyone except Ethan. The feeling is mutual, Ethan muttered, stepping over the cat. Emma came thundering down the stairs and launched herself at Ethan. Daddy! Grandma let me make pancakes, and I only burned 2. Only 2? That's an improvement. He caught her easily. Did you say hi to Claire? Emma wriggled down and gave Claire a quick hug. Hi. Are you Daddy's girlfriend now? Grandma said you probably were because he never brings anyone to visit except boring work people. Emma, Ethan and Maggie said simultaneously. What? It's true. Emma grabbed Claire's hand. Come see what I made. It's in the kitchen. Claire let herself be dragged away, leaving Ethan with his mother. She could hear Maggie's voice carrying from the hallway. So you finally told her how you feel? Mom, don't mom me. I've been telling you for 2 years to say something. That poor girl has been pining after you since... Their voices faded as Emma pulled Claire into a kitchen covered in flour. We made a mess, Emma announced proudly. Grandpa said it looked like a snow explosion. An older man with Ethan's eyes looked up from the sink where he was washing dishes. You must be Claire. I'm Richard. Sorry about the flour. We got ambitious. It looks like you had fun. Oh, we did. Emma's going to make an excellent chef someday. He dried his hands. Or possibly a demolition expert. The jury's still out.
Emma showed Claire the slightly lopsided pancakes she'd made, explaining in great detail how the batter worked and why blueberries were scientifically the best fruit. Claire found herself relaxing, laughing at Emma's commentary, feeling almost normal. Then Vanessa's text messages flashed through her mind and the normalcy shattered. Ethan appeared in the doorway. We should get going. Claire has things to do today. She didn't, but she appreciated the escape route. Saying goodbye took another 15 minutes, with Emma extracting promises that Claire would come back soon and Maggie insisting she take home leftover pancakes. Finally, they made it back to the car. Your family is wonderful, Claire said as they pulled away. They liked you, Emma especially. He glanced over. What's wrong? Nothing. Claire, she sighed, I just keep thinking about Vanessa, about Monday, about what happens when this all becomes public. We deal with it together. What if the board doesn't approve? What if they make you choose between the company and they won't? And if they do, I choose you. Claire's breath caught. You can't mean that. I absolutely mean that. I've built that company into what it is. I'm not irreplaceable, but I'm damn valuable. They're not going to fire me over a relationship. He reached over and took her hand. And even if they did, I'd rather have you than a corner office. That's insane. Probably, but I've spent 10 years prioritizing work over everything else, over relationships, over happiness, over actually living my life. He pulled up in front of her apartment building. I'm done with that. Emma deserves a father who's present, and I deserve to be with someone who makes me remember why I'm working so hard in the first place. Claire unbuckled her seatbelt but didn't move to get out. Ethan, he kissed her, slow and deep and thorough, like he was trying to erase every doubt from her mind through touch alone. When they finally broke apart, she was breathless. Go inside, he murmured against her lips. Get some rest. I'll call you tonight after Emma's asleep. Okay. And Claire? Stop checking your phone for texts from unknown numbers. Block them. All of them. Don't give her any more space in your head. Easier said than done. I know, but try. One more quick kiss. I'll talk to you later. Claire floated up to her apartment, her lips still tingling, her mind spinning. She should work. Should review the Tokyo reports. Should do something productive. Instead, she spent the afternoon blocking numbers and deleting messages and trying not to think about what Monday would bring. Jessica called at 4. Okay, I've been patient long enough. What the hell happened last night? You were supposed to text me. Claire filled her in on everything. The dinner, the fight, the coffee shop conversation, the visit to Ethan's parents. So you're officially together now, Jessica said when she finished. I think so. Maybe. It's complicated. It's always complicated with you. She could hear Jessica moving around, probably pacing. But he told you he loves you. He's going to the board. He introduced you to his family. Those aren't small things, Claire. I know. But Vanessa is still out there, still sending messages, still trying to destroy this before it even starts. Claire pulled her knees up to her chest. What if she succeeds? Then you fight back. You think I'm going to let some psycho ex ruin my best friend's happiness? Absolutely not. Jessica's voice turned determined. We need dirt on her, proof of the harassment, something concrete we can use. Ethan's handling it. Ethan is one person. We're a team, and teams do research. The sound of typing came through the phone. What's her full name again? Jessica, you can't just... Vanessa Whitmore, got it. Okay, let me see what I can find. This is probably illegal. It's Google. Google isn't illegal. Oh, hello. Jessica's voice changed. Well, this is interesting. What? Vanessa Whitmore has done this before. 3 years ago, there was a complaint filed against her by another executive, sexual harassment, creating a hostile work environment. It was settled out of court and sealed. Claire sat up straight. How did you find that? Court records are public. Settlements are sealed, but complaints aren't always. This was filed in New York County. Took me 3 minutes. More typing. The executive who filed was a woman named Sarah Chen, and according to LinkedIn, she used to work at the same consulting firm Vanessa did. Can we contact her? We can try. I'm messaging her now. A pause. Okay, message sent. Now we wait. Jessica Chishufek, don't Jessica me. If Vanessa has a pattern of this behavior, Ethan needs to know. The board needs to know. You need ammunition. Claire wanted to argue, wanted to say they should let Ethan handle it, but a small, scared part of her was grateful Jessica was digging. They talked for another hour, Jessica periodically updating her on various internet searches that turned up more questions than answers about Vanessa's past. By the time they hung up, Claire's head was pounding. Her phone buzzed with a new message. She almost didn't look, expecting another anonymous threat. But it was from Ethan. Ethan, Emma wants to know if you like pizza. Apparently we're having an important dinner discussion about favorite foods. Claire, I love pizza. Ethan, good answer. She also wants to know your favorite color, your favorite animal, and whether you believe in unicorns. Claire, purple dogs, and absolutely yes. Ethan, she says you're officially her favorite person now. I've been demoted to second place. Claire, I'm honored. Ethan, you should be. She doesn't give out favorite person status lightly. Claire smiled at her phone like an idiot. This was good. This felt right. Maybe they could actually make this work. Then another message came through. Unknown number, unknown. Enjoy it while it lasts. You'll be gone by the end of the month, just like all the others. She blocked the number without reading it twice. Sunday passed in a blur of anxiety. Claire tried to work, tried to read, tried to do anything that would stop her from obsessively checking her phone. Ethan sent pictures of Emma covered in paint from an art project. Jessica sent updates about her attempts to contact Sarah Chen. And the unknown numbers kept texting, each message blocked immediately but still leaving a residue of fear. By Sunday night, Claire was ready to crawl out of her skin. Ethan, can't sleep? Claire, how did you know? Ethan, because I can't either, and I'm guessing for the same reasons. Claire, tomorrow's going to be bad, isn't it? Ethan, possibly, probably, but we're going to get through it. Claire, you sound more confident than I feel. Ethan, one of us has to be. Might as well be me. Claire, what if the board doesn't understand? Ethan, then I'll make them understand. I've been on this board for 8 years. They trust my judgment, and if they don't trust this, then maybe I'm on the wrong board. Claire, you'd really leave? Ethan, for you? In a heartbeat. Claire stared at that message for a long time. Claire, don't make promises you might not be able to keep. Ethan, I don't make promises I can't keep, ever. Claire, I'm scared. Ethan, me too. But we're scared together. That counts for something. Claire, does it? Ethan, it does to me. She fell asleep with her phone in her hand, Ethan's last message still on the screen. Monday morning arrived with all the subtlety of a freight train. Claire, dressed in her most severe suit, pulled her hair into a tight bun and put on makeup like war paint. If she was going to face whatever today brought, she was going to look professional doing it. The office felt different when she arrived. People were clustered in groups, voices low, glancing toward the executive floor. Something had already happened. Jessica met her at the elevator. We have a problem. What kind of problem? The kind where someone leaked that you and Ethan are involved and now everyone's talking about it. Jessica pulled her into an empty conference room. It hit the rumor mill about an hour ago. No idea who started it, but everyone knows. Claire's stomach dropped. Everyone? Everyone, including HR. I heard they called Ethan in first thing this morning. He was supposed to tell the board first, control the narrative. Yeah, well, someone beat him to it. Jessica pulled out her phone, and I'd bet my entire paycheck it was Vanessa. Before Claire could respond, her phone rang. Ethan's name on the screen. Hello? My office. Now. His voice was clipped, professional. We need to talk. The line went dead. Claire looked at Jessica. This is bad. Go. I'll keep an ear out for more gossip. The walk to the executive floor felt like walking to an execution. People stopped talking when she passed, stared, whispered. By the time she reached Ethan's office, her hands were shaking. He was standing by the window, his back to the door. "Close it." She did. "HR got an anonymous complaint this morning," he said, without turning around, "alleging I've been having an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate, that I promoted you to cover it up, that I've been using company resources for personal matters." Now he turned to face her. His expression was carefully blank. "They're launching an investigation. Ethan, they're also putting me on temporary administrative leave pending the investigation's outcome."
The floor tilted. "They can't do that." "They can." "They did." He moved to his desk, picked up a folder. "I've been instructed to have no contact with you outside of official investigation proceedings. They're assigning you a different supervisor for the Tokyo project, and they're reviewing all of my personnel decisions from the past 3 years to ensure no favoritism." "This is insane. We didn't do anything wrong." "We had a relationship while you reported to me. That's against policy."
"I didn't report to you anymore. You promoted me first. The complaint alleges the promotion was part of the cover-up, that I moved you to avoid scrutiny." He handed her the folder. "Your interview with HR is scheduled for tomorrow at 9. I suggest you review the employee handbook section on workplace relationships before then." His voice was so formal, so cold, like they were strangers.
"Ethan, I can't talk to you about this. Not here. Not until the investigation is complete." But his eyes were begging her to understand. "I'm sorry." Claire took the folder with numb fingers. "Who did this?" "The complaint was anonymous, but we both know who filed it." "Can't we tell them about the harassment, the texts?"
"I tried. They said without proof that the text came from her specifically. It's just my word against hers. And given the circumstances, my word doesn't count for much right now." He sat down heavily. "They've frozen my access to most systems. I can't even check my own email without supervision." "So what do we do?" "You go to your interview tomorrow. You tell the truth. You cooperate fully with the investigation." He met her eyes. "And you trust that I'm going to fix this."
"How?" "I don't know yet, but I will." He stood. "You should go. People are watching, and we can't afford to give them anything else to talk about." Claire wanted to argue, wanted to stay and fight and refused to let Vanessa win, but Ethan's expression was firm, final. She left without another word. The day spiraled downward from there. By lunch, the entire office knew about the HR investigation. By 2 p.m., someone had leaked it to a business blogger who posted a blind item about a major CEO under investigation for workplace impropriety. By 4, Claire's new supervisor, a stern woman named Patricia, who looked at her like she was a walking lawsuit, had reassigned half her Tokyo project responsibilities to other team members. Jessica found her at 5, sitting alone in her office, staring at nothing. "Okay, I have good news and bad news." Bad news first. Vanessa's been meeting with board members all day. Private meetings. No idea what she's saying, but it can't be good. And the good news? Sarah Chen responded to my message. She wants to talk to you, tonight, if possible. Claire looked up. "Really?" "Really. She said she's been waiting for someone to finally stand up to Vanessa. She's willing to share her story, on the record." Jessica leaned against the desk. "This could be the ammunition we need." "Ethan said we need proof the texts came from Vanessa." "Sarah might have that proof, or at least corroboration that this is Vanessa's pattern." Jessica pulled out her phone. "I can set up a call for tonight. Are you in?" Claire thought about Ethan's instruction to cooperate with the investigation, to let him handle it. Then she thought about Vanessa meeting with board members, poisoning them against Ethan, against her. "Set it up," she said. "I want to hear what Sarah has to say." The video call with Sarah Chen happened at 8 p.m. Jessica sat next to Claire in her apartment, both of them staring at the laptop screen as Sarah's face appeared. She was younger than Claire expected, maybe 35, professional, tired. "Thank you for agreeing to talk to us," Claire said. "I should thank you. When I heard Vanessa was pulling the same thing again, I knew I had to say something." Sarah settled into her chair. "How much do you know about what happened with me?" "Just that there was a complaint. Sexual harassment, hostile work environment. That's the sanitized version." Sarah's expression hardened. "The real version is that Vanessa and I worked together at a consulting firm. She was my supervisor. We became friendly, then more than friendly. I thought we were dating. Turns out she was using the relationship to control me." Claire's chest tightened.
What do you mean? She'd make decisions about my projects, my assignments, my career, all under the guise of helping me. Then when I tried to end things, she threatened to tell the firm I'd been sleeping with her for preferential treatment, that I'd initiated everything, that I was using her. That's horrible, Jessica breathed. It gets worse. When I went to HR, she produced emails I'd sent her, taken completely out of context, made it look like I was obsessed with her, stalking her. They settled with me to make it go away, but it destroyed my reputation. I had to leave the industry entirely. And Vanessa faced no consequences? None. She moved to another firm, then another, building her career while mine ended. Sarah leaned closer to the camera. But I kept records, screenshots, original emails with full context, proof that she manipulated everything. Claire's heart raced. Would you be willing to share those? With the right people? Absolutely, if it means stopping her from doing this to someone else. Sarah pulled out a folder. I have everything, including text messages from burner phones she used to harass me after I left. Different numbers, but the same phone. I had a tech friend trace them. The same phone she's probably using now, Jessica said. Probably. Vanessa's not creative. She uses the same playbook every time. Sarah looked directly at Claire. If you're going through something similar, you need to document everything. Save every message, every email, every interaction. Build your own case before she can build one against you. They talked for another hour. Sarah shared her files, explaining the patterns, the manipulation tactics, the way Vanessa isolated her targets before turning on them. By the time the call ended, Claire had a folder full of evidence and a plan forming in her mind. We need to get this to Ethan, she said. We need to get this to the board, Jessica corrected. Directly, before Vanessa can spin it. How? Ethan's on leave. We don't have access to board members. Jessica grinned. No, but Marcus from legal does, and Marcus owes me a favor. Claire looked at her friend. What kind of favor? The kind where I didn't tell anyone he was dating the IT director when it was against policy. The kind where he'll definitely help us take down Vanessa if it means protecting Ethan. It was risky. Possibly stupid. Definitely outside proper channels. But Vanessa had started this fight, and Claire was done playing defense. Call Marcus, she said. Tell him we need to meet. Tonight. Jessica was already dialing. Marcus agreed to meet them at a bar 2 blocks from the office. He arrived looking nervous, ordered a scotch, and listened to their entire story without interrupting. When they finished, he sat back and let out a low whistle. This is either going to save Ethan's career or get all of us fired. So you'll help? Claire asked. I'll do better than help. I'll bring this directly to the board chairman, tomorrow morning, before Vanessa can do any more damage. He looked at the folder Sarah had sent. But you need to be prepared for fallout. Vanessa's not going to take this quietly. Let her make noise, Claire said. We have proof now, actual proof. We do. But corporate investigations move slowly. Even with this evidence, HR might take weeks to conclude anything. So what do we do in the meantime? Marcus finished his drink. You survive your interview tomorrow. You stay professional. You don't give them any reason to doubt your story. He stood. And you trust that Ethan's smarter than all of us combined. If anyone can navigate this, it's him. That night, Claire lay awake knowing she'd crossed a line. Ethan had told her to let him handle it, to cooperate with the investigation, to wait. Instead, she'd gone behind his back, built a case without him, taken matters into her own hands. He was either going to be grateful or furious, possibly both. Her phone buzzed. She grabbed it, hoping for Ethan. It was another unknown number. Unknown. You're making this worse for both of you. He's going to lose everything because of you. Walk away now, while you still can. Claire stared at the message. Then she took a screenshot, added it to the evidence folder, and blocked the number. She was done being scared. Tomorrow, she'd face HR. And then she'd face Vanessa. One way or another, this was ending. The HR office was smaller than Claire expected. Just a conference room with beige walls and a table that had seen better days. 2 people sat across from her, a woman named Linda, who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else, and a man introduced as Derek from the company's legal team. Thank you for coming in, Ms. Monroe, Linda said, opening a folder. This shouldn't take long. We just need to clarify some details about your relationship with Ethan Calloway. Claire's hands were folded in her lap, nails digging into her palms. What would you like to know? Let's start with when the relationship began. Last week, Friday night. Linda's eyebrows rose. That's very recent. Yes. And prior to that, your relationship was strictly professional? Yes. Derek leaned forward. Miss Monroe, we have reports that you and Mr. Calloway have been involved for significantly longer, that the promotion you received was compensation for maintaining a personal relationship. That's not true. Then why were you promoted so suddenly, and why to a position you had no prior experience in? Claire took a breath. I'd been managing preliminary work on the Tokyo expansion for 6 months. The promotion made sense from a project continuity standpoint. Ethan recommended me because I knew the work better than anyone else. Ethan, Linda repeated. You call him Ethan. That's his name. Most assistants refer to their supervisors more formally. I wasn't his assistant anymore when we started dating. The promotion happened first, deliberately, to avoid exactly this kind of conflict. Derek made a note. Tell us about the incident with Mr. Calloway's laptop. Claire's stomach clenched. What about it? You accessed private files without authorization, files that contain personal photographs. Shortly after, you were promoted and transferred. That's quite a coincidence. I was working on a presentation. The sync failed. I accidentally opened the wrong folder. She kept her voice steady. I signed an NDA about it. The matter was resolved. Was it? Or was the NDA leverage, a way to ensure your silence about the relationship? There was no relationship at that time. So you expect us to believe that you accidentally saw compromising photos of your supervisor, signed a confidentiality agreement, got promoted immediately after, and only then started dating him? Derek's tone was skeptical. That's asking us to accept a lot of coincidences. It's the truth. Linda exchanged a look with Derek. Miss Monroe, someone filed a complaint alleging that Mr. Calloway has been using his position to pursue inappropriate relationships with subordinates, that he has a pattern of this behavior. We need to investigate thoroughly. Who filed the complaint? That's confidential. Was it Vanessa Whitmore? Silence. Linda's expression flickered. Why would you think that? Because she's been harassing me, sending threatening texts from multiple numbers, trying to sabotage my work. She's Ethan's ex-girlfriend, and she's doing everything she can to destroy what we have. Derek sat back. Those are serious allegations. Do you have proof? I have the text messages, screenshots, all saved and documented. Claire pulled out her phone. I can show you right now. Linda held up a hand. That's not necessary at this moment, but we'll need you to submit those as part of your formal statement. I will. And I have more than that. Claire's heart was racing, but she kept going. I have testimony from another woman Vanessa did this to before. Someone she harassed and manipulated until they left their job. Someone who has proof that Vanessa uses the same tactics repeatedly. Derek and Linda exchanged another look. You'll need to submit all of that through proper channels, Linda said carefully. But for now, let's focus on your relationship with Mr. Calloway. When exactly did romantic feelings develop? Claire answered their questions for another 40 minutes. When did she first find Ethan attractive? Whether he'd ever made advances before the promotion, whether she felt pressured or coerced in any way, whether she'd witnessed him behaving inappropriately with other employees. By the time they finally let her go, she felt wrung out and raw. Jessica was waiting outside the conference room. How bad? Bad. They think the promotion was payment for keeping quiet about the photo. They think we've been involved for months. Claire slumped against the wall. Did Marcus talk to the board chairman? He tried. The chairman is in meetings all morning, but Marcus got the evidence folder to his assistant with a note saying it's urgent. Jessica checked her watch. He should see it by noon. And then what? Then hopefully he realizes Vanessa's been playing everyone and this whole investigation gets redirected where it belongs. Claire wanted to believe that, but hope felt dangerous right now. She made it back to her office and tried to focus on work, tried to review reports and respond to emails and pretend her entire career wasn't hanging by a thread. At 11:30, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. She almost blocked it automatically, then saw the message preview. Unknown. This is Ethan. They took my phone, using Emma's iPad. Can't talk long. How did the interview go? Claire's hands shook as she typed back. Claire. They think we've been together for months, think the promotion was a cover-up. Ethan.
I know, they asked me the same questions. Claire, whatever happens, tell the truth. Don't lie to protect me. Claire, I'm not lying. I'm telling them exactly what happened. Ethan, good. That's all we can do. Claire, Marcus is taking Sarah Chen's evidence to the board chairman. We have proof Vanessa's done this before. The typing indicator appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Ethan, you went to Sarah Chen? Claire, Jessica found her. She wanted to help. Ethan, Claire, I told you to let me handle this. Claire, you were on leave. You couldn't do anything, so I did. Ethan, by going behind my back? Claire, by fighting for us. Someone had to. Another long pause. Ethan, we'll talk about this later. I have to go. Emma's school is calling. The message thread went dark. Claire stared at her phone, feeling sick. He was angry. She could tell even through text. But what was she supposed to do? Sit around and wait while Vanessa destroyed everything? Claire Monroe? She looked up to find Vanessa standing in her doorway, perfectly composed in a cream suit. Can I help you? Claire's voice came out colder than she intended. I wanted to check in, see how you're holding up. Vanessa stepped inside and closed the door. I heard about the HR interview. That must have been difficult. What do you want, Vanessa? I want to help you. She sat down across from Claire's desk. I know how Ethan can be. How persuasive. How he makes you feel like you're special when really you're just convenient. Get out of my office. I'm trying to save you from making the same mistakes I did. Vanessa leaned forward. He told you about us, didn't he? About how it ended? He told me you became obsessive, that you harassed him, that he had to threaten legal action. Vanessa's smile was pitying. Is that what he said? Interesting, because that's not how I remember it. I don't care how you remember it. You should, because in a few weeks, you're going to be exactly where I was. Discarded, replaced, wondering how you let yourself believe his lies. She stood. The photo you saw? I took that. During a weekend we spent together in the Hamptons. He told me he loved me, that we had a future. Then Monday morning he ended it and acted like I meant nothing. Claire's chest tightened, but she kept her expression neutral. You're lying. Am I? Ask him about the Hamptons, about August 2019, about all the promises he made. Vanessa moved toward the door. Or don't. You'll figure it out eventually. They always do. She left before Claire could respond. Claire sat frozen, Vanessa's words echoing in her head. The Hamptons. August 2019, the date on the photo folder. Ethan had said it was casual. One night, someone he barely knew. But Vanessa was saying they'd spent a weekend together, that he'd made promises. One of them was lying. Her phone rang. Marcus. Claire, we have a problem. What kind of problem? The board chairman looked at Sarah Chen's evidence. He's calling an emergency board meeting for this afternoon. Both you and Ethan need to be there. I thought Ethan was on leave. He was. The chairman just reinstated him pending the meeting outcome. But Claire... Marcus paused. Vanessa's going to be there too. She's demanding the right to defend herself against Sarah's allegations. Can she do that? The chairman thinks it's fair, and honestly, it might work in our favor. If she lies, we can catch her in it. Another pause. But you need to be prepared. This is going to get ugly. The meeting was scheduled for 3 p.m. in the main boardroom. Claire spent the intervening hours feeling like she was going to throw up. Jessica brought her tea and a pep talk. Marcus sent over the evidence folder one more time so she could review it. At 2:55, she walked into the boardroom. The space was designed to intimidate. Massive table, leather chairs, windows overlooking all of Manhattan. 7 board members sat around the table, including the chairman, a silver-haired man named Robert Chen who looked like he'd rather be playing golf. Ethan was already there, sitting at one end of the table in a fresh suit. He looked composed, professional. But when his eyes met Claire's, she saw the strain underneath. Vanessa sat opposite him, perfectly calm. Miss Monroe, please sit, Robert said, gesturing to a chair. Thank you all for coming on short notice. We have a serious matter to address, and I want to handle it quickly and fairly. He outlined the situation, the anonymous complaint, the HR investigation, the evidence Marcus had submitted about Vanessa's past behavior. Miss Whitmore, you've been accused of filing a false harassment complaint and engaging in a pattern of manipulation with former colleagues. How do you respond?
Vanessa's expression was sorrowful. I'm devastated that Sarah Chen is still trying to damage my reputation after all these years. What happened between us was unfortunate, but it was also entirely consensual until she decided she wanted more than I could give her. That's not true, Claire said. You weren't there, Ms. Monroe. You don't know what happened. I know what Sarah told me. I know about the emails you took out of context, the harassment from burner phones, the way you twisted everything to make yourself look like the victim. Sarah was unstable. Everyone at our firm knew it. That's why the settlement included a confidentiality clause to protect both of us from further damage. Robert held up a hand. Let's table that for a moment. Mr. Calloway, what's your response to the complaint filed about your relationship with Miss Monroe? Ethan's voice was steady. Claire and I began a romantic relationship last Friday. Prior to that, our relationship was strictly professional. I promoted her because she earned it, not because of any personal involvement. And the incident with the laptop, the private photo, was an accident. Claire was working late on a presentation. A sync error opened a folder she had no reason to access. I overreacted out of embarrassment. The NDA was precautionary, nothing more. Vanessa laughed. Actually laughed. You expect them to believe that? That she just happened to see your private photos, and then you just happened to promote her, and then you just happened to start dating? Yes, Ethan said flatly, because that's what happened. Or maybe you've been involved with her for months. Maybe you promoted her to cover it up. Maybe the whole thing is exactly what it looks like. A powerful man abusing his position to pursue a subordinate. I never abused anything. No? Then explain why Claire had access to your private laptop, why she was working in your office late at night. Why? Because I trusted her. Ethan's composure cracked. Because in 3 years, she never once violated that trust. She worked harder than anyone in this company. She earned everything she got. And yes, I developed feelings for her, but I never acted on them while she reported to me. Never. The room was silent. Robert looked at Claire. Miss Monroe, is that accurate?
Yes. Ethan never made any advances while I was his assistant. He was completely professional, always. She took a breath. But Vanessa knew I had feelings for him. She's been trying to use that against me since she arrived. That's absurd. Is it? Claire pulled out her phone. Because I have 23 text messages from unknown numbers, all sent in the last week, all threatening me, all telling me to stay away from Ethan or I'd regret it. She pulled up the screenshots and passed her phone to Robert. He scrolled through them, his expression darkening. These are disturbing. They're also untraceable, Vanessa said smoothly. Anyone could have sent them. You can't prove I was involved. Actually, we can, Marcus said from the doorway. Everyone turned to look at him. He held up his own phone. Sarah Chen's tech friend traced the metadata on the messages she received 2 years ago. Same device signature, same IP address patterns. And this morning, I had our IT department analyze Claire's messages. Same signature. Vanessa's face went white. The messages came from a phone registered to a shell company, Marcus continued. A company that Vanessa Whitmore is listed as the sole director of. We have the registration papers. Want me to show them? Robert's expression was thunderous. Ms. Whitmore, is this true? I can explain. I don't want explanations. I want the truth. Did you send those messages? Vanessa looked around the room like a trapped animal. Then her mask slipped entirely. Fine. Yes, I sent them, but only because I was trying to protect this company from making a terrible mistake. By harassing an employee? By exposing the truth? Ethan has a pattern of this. He gets involved with women who work for him, makes promises, then discards them when someone new comes along. It happened to me, it happened to Sarah, and it's happening to Claire right now, but she's too infatuated to see it. Ethan stood. That's enough. Is it? Tell them about the Hamptons, Ethan. Tell them about the weekend we spent together, about how you said you could see a future with me, about how you introduced me to your parents and your daughter and then cut me off completely the following week, because you showed up at my apartment uninvited. You called my daughter's school pretending to be her mother. You sent flowers to my office every day for a month, even after I told you to stop. Ethan's voice was cold.
I didn't discard you, Vanessa. I escaped you. That's not... I have the security footage from my building, the call logs from Emma's school, the florist receipts. I kept everything because my lawyer told me to document the harassment. He turned to Robert. I can provide all of it if needed, but the short version is that Vanessa became obsessed after I ended a brief relationship. She's been looking for revenge ever since. Vanessa's composure shattered completely. You ruined my life. You made me think I mattered, and then you threw me away like garbage. I ended a casual relationship that wasn't working. You turned it into an obsession. Because I loved you. Her voice broke. I loved you and you couldn't even see me. You were already looking at her, your precious assistant who followed you around like a lost puppy. The silence in the room was deafening. Robert stood. Ms. Whitmore, your contract with Callaway Industries is terminated effective immediately. You'll be escorted from the building and banned from the premises. If you attempt any further contact with Mr. Callaway or Miss Monroe, we will pursue legal action. You can't do this. I can, and I am. Security will meet you at your office. He gestured to the door. This meeting is over for you. Vanessa looked around the room wildly, then her eyes landed on Claire. This isn't over. You think you've won, but you haven't. He's going to break your heart just like he broke mine. I don't think so, Claire said quietly. Because unlike you, I actually know him, and I'm not trying to turn him into someone he's not. Vanessa opened her mouth to respond, but security appeared in the doorway. She let them escort her out, her heels clicking against the floor like a countdown. When the door closed behind her, Robert sank back into his chair. Well, that was dramatic. Nervous laughter rippled around the table. Mr. Callaway, Miss Monroe, I apologize for putting you through this, but given the allegations, we had to investigate thoroughly. He looked between them. That said, I do have concerns about the relationship. Not about impropriety, I believe your account of events, but about optics. The company can't afford even the appearance of favoritism. I understand, Ethan said. What do you recommend? Miss Monroe's promotion stands. But going forward, she reports directly to the board on the Tokyo project, not to you. That creates a clear separation of authority. And you'll both need to sign updated ethics agreements acknowledging the relationship and agreeing to recuse yourselves from any decisions involving the other. That's fair, Claire said. Good. Then this matter is closed. Miss Monroe, you can return to your regular duties immediately. Mr. Callaway, your leave is ended. Welcome back. Robert stood. And both of you, try not to create any more drama for at least a few months. My blood pressure can't take it. The board members filed out, leaving Claire and Ethan alone in the massive room. They stared at each other across the table. You went to Sarah Chen, Ethan said finally. I did. After I told you to let me handle it. You couldn't handle it. You were on leave. So you decided to build a case without me, to contact my ex-girlfriend's former victim, to involve Marcus and Jessica, and who knows who else. His voice wasn't angry exactly, just tired. Claire, I appreciate what you were trying to do, but you should have talked to me first. When? You couldn't communicate with me. You were banned from contact. She stood. Someone had to do something. Vanessa was winning. And what if Sarah's evidence hadn't panned out? What if Vanessa had found a way to discredit her? You could have made everything worse. But I didn't. I made it better. I saved both of our jobs. We don't know that. Maybe Marcus would have found the same evidence. Maybe the board would have investigated Vanessa independently. He moved around the table toward her. The point is, you didn't trust me to handle it. I did trust you. Claire swallowed hard. I couldn't sit there and do nothing while she destroyed us. I had to fight back. Ethan stopped in front of her. I know, and part of me is grateful, but part of me is frustrated that you felt like you had to do it alone. We're supposed to be a team. We are a team. That's why I did it, to protect both of us. By excluding me from the plan, by doing what needed to be done when you couldn't. They stood there, neither backing down, both too stubborn to admit the other had a point. Finally, Ethan sighed. I'm not good at this. At what? At letting people help me. At not controlling everything. At trusting that someone else can fix problems I think I should handle. He took her hand. I spent 10 years being the only one I could rely on. And now I have you, and I don't know how to let you in without feeling like I'm losing control. Claire's anger softened. I'm not trying to take control. I'm trying to share it. I know. And I need to get better at letting you. He pulled her closer. But you need to get better at telling me when you're planning something crazy. Because finding out after the fact that you contacted Sarah and built an entire case without me, that hurt. I'm sorry, I should have found a way to tell you.
Yeah, you should have. He kissed her forehead. But I'm also sorry for not trusting that you could handle Vanessa, for trying to protect you instead of fighting beside you. So we're both terrible at this. Apparently. His arms came around her. But at least we're terrible together. Claire laughed despite everything. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me.
Give me time. I'll come up with better. He pulled back to look at her. Claire, I meant what I said in those texts. I love you, even when you're going behind my back to save my job. I love you too, even when you're being a controlling workaholic. We're going to make a terrible couple. Probably. She kissed him. But I'm okay with that. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it and groaned. Emma's school. Again. Apparently she told her entire class her dad has a girlfriend now, and they want confirmation for their records. You're going to confirm it, right? Are you kidding? She'll never let me hear the end of it if I don't. He pulled Claire toward the door. Come on, we're picking her up together. Time for you to be officially introduced as the woman who deals with my terrible personality. I thought I was your girlfriend. Same thing. They left the boardroom hand in hand, and for the first time in days, Claire felt like she could breathe. Vanessa was gone. The investigation was over. The board knew the truth, and Ethan Calloway, billionaire workaholic with control issues and a 7-year-old daughter, was hers. They made it to the elevator before Jessica appeared, practically vibrating with excitement. Oh my God, is it true? Is Vanessa really banned from the building? Permanently, Ethan said. And you two are officially together, like board-approved together? With ethics paperwork to prove it, Claire added. Jessica squealed and pulled Claire into a hug. I told you it would work out. I told you he was worth fighting for. You were right. I'm always right. Remember that. She released Claire and pointed at Ethan. And you, don't screw this up. She's the best thing that's ever happened to you. I'm aware. Good. Now go pick up your kid and be adorable together. I'll handle the office gossip. She disappeared down the hallway, already pulling out her phone. In the elevator, Ethan pulled Claire close. Fair warning, Emma's going to have a million questions, and my mother is going to want to have you over for dinner, and the entire office is going to be watching us constantly. I can handle it. Can you? Because this is real now. No more hiding, no more pretending. Everyone's going to know. Claire thought about the past week, the fear, the fighting, the moments when she'd almost walked away. Then she thought about Ethan reading to Emma with glow stars overhead, about his admission that he'd been in love with her for years, about the way he'd fought for them even when everything seemed impossible. I can handle it, she said again, as long as you're with me. Always, he promised. And when he kissed her, Claire believed him. Emma was waiting outside her school with the teacher when they arrived, bouncing on her toes like she'd had too much sugar. The moment she spotted them walking up together, her entire face lit up. I knew it! I told Mrs. Patterson you were dating, and she didn't believe me. She ran over and grabbed both their hands. Can we get ice cream, please? I want to celebrate. Celebrate what exactly? Ethan asked, though he was already smiling. You being happy. You've been grumpy for forever. But now you smile at your phone and you hum when you make coffee and you're not grumpy anymore. Emma looked up at Claire. That's because of you, right? Claire's throat tightened. I don't know about that. I do. Daddy's always grumpy when he's alone too much. Grandma says he needs people, but he's bad at letting them in. Emma swung their joined hands. So, can we get ice cream or not? Ethan sighed. You're manipulating me. Is it working? Unfortunately, yes. They ended up at a small ice cream shop 2 blocks from the school. Emma ordered something with gummy bears and sprinkles that looked like a crime against dessert. Claire got vanilla. Ethan got nothing, claiming he'd just steal bites from both of them. That's not how it works, Emma informed him seriously. You have to order your own. Where's the fun in that? Grandma's right. You're impossible. But she was grinning as she said it. They sat at a small table by the window, Emma chattering about her day between bites of ice cream. She'd gotten an A on her spelling test, Her friend Madison had brought a hamster for show and tell, and apparently there was drama involving who got to be the line leader. Claire listened and watched Ethan watch his daughter, his expression soft in a way she'd never seen at the office. This was who he really was when the walls came down. Not the billionaire CEO, not the controlled strategist, just a dad who loved his kid and stole ice cream when she wasn't looking. "Claire, do you have any kids?" Emma asked suddenly. "No, I don't." "Do you want kids?" "Emma," Ethan said, "that's personal." "What? I'm just asking." She turned back to Claire. "Do you?" Claire hesitated. This felt like a test, though she wasn't sure what the right answer was. "I think so. Someday. If I met the right person." Emma nodded like this was very important information. "Okay, good. Because if you and Daddy get married, I don't want to be an only child forever. Madison has 3 siblings, and she says it's annoying but also kind of fun." Ethan choked on the ice cream he'd just stolen. "We're not, he coughed. "Emma, Claire and I just started dating. Nobody's talking about marriage." "Why not? You're old. You should probably hurry up." "I'm 32. "That's basically ancient." Emma turned to Claire very seriously. "He's bad at emotions. Grandma says it's because he's scared of getting hurt again, but he's really nice once you get past the grumpy part. And he makes really good pancakes. Not as good as Grandma's, but pretty good." Claire bit back a laugh. "That's good to know." "And he works too much, but if you tell him to stop, he usually does. Eventually. Sometimes." Emma paused. "Okay, he never stops. But he tries to feel bad about it." "Emma Marie Calloway," Ethan said. "Stop giving Claire reasons to run away." "I'm not running," Claire said quietly. "I promise." The look Ethan gave her was worth every difficult moment of the past week. They walked Emma back to Ethan's penthouse, her small hand warm in Claire's. The doorman greeted them with a knowing smile, and the elevator ride up felt different than it had the first time. Less terrifying, more like coming home. "Can Claire stay for dinner?" Emma asked as they walked in. "Please? I want to show her my new art project." Ethan looked at Claire. "You don't have to." "I'd like to," Claire said, "if that's okay." "It's more than okay." So Claire stayed. She sat on the floor of Emma's room while the 7-year-old showed her every drawing, every craft project, every treasured possession with the intensity of a museum curator. She listened to stories about school and friends, and the hermit crab Emma desperately wanted but wasn't allowed to have. "Why not?" Claire asked. "Because Daddy says pets are a lot of responsibility, and I need to prove I can take care of things first." Emma pulled out a stuffed bunny. "So I've been taking care of Mr. Hopscotch for 3 months. I brush him every day and make sure he has water." "Mr. Hopscotch is stuffed," Ethan said from the doorway. "He doesn't need water." "He might get thirsty. You don't know." Emma hugged the bunny protectively. "I'm being responsible." "You're being ridiculous, but I love you anyway." He checked his watch. "Dinner in 20 minutes. Go wash your hands." Emma ran off, leaving Claire and Ethan alone. "She's amazing," Claire said. "She's exhausting." But he was smiling. "And she already loves you, which is both wonderful and terrifying." "Why terrifying?" "Because if this doesn't work out, I'm not the only one who gets hurt." He pulled Claire to her feet. "She's already planning our wedding, apparently. I heard. Very efficient of her." "Claire, I'm serious. Emma doesn't get attached to people easily. But when she does, it's permanent. If you're not ready for that..." "I'm ready." Claire cut him off. "I'm not going anywhere, Ethan. I meant what I said in the elevator. I'm in this." He kissed her, gentle and grateful. "Good. Because I don't think I could let you go even if I wanted to." Dinner was chaos in the best way. Emma insisted on helping cook, which meant flour everywhere and vegetables cut into questionable shapes. Ethan narrated the process like he was hosting a cooking show, making Emma giggle. Claire set the table and tried not to think about how domestic this all felt. How right. They ate pasta with slightly burned garlic bread and vegetables that Emma had cut into abstract shapes. The conversation flowed easily, punctuated by Emma's observations about everything from her teacher's new haircut to whether aliens probably existed. "They definitely exist," Emma declared. "The universe is too big for us to be alone." "Sound logic," Ethan agreed. "Thank you. I'm very smart." She turned to Claire. "Do you believe in aliens?" "I think it's possible. The universe is pretty big."
See, Daddy, Claire agrees with me. That means I'm right. That's not how science works. It's how my science works. After dinner, Emma had to do homework. Math problems that she dramatically declared were impossible until Claire showed her a trick for solving them. Then bedtime became a negotiation that Ethan clearly lost because Emma managed to extend it by 20 minutes through sheer persistence. Finally, after stories and teeth brushing and one more glass of water, Emma was asleep in her glow-star bedroom. Ethan closed her door quietly and leaned against it. I'm sorry. She's usually not that manipulative. That's a lie. She's always that manipulative. Claire smiled. I love her. You've known her for 3 hours total. And I love her. She's smart and funny, and she has your eyes. Claire stepped closer. And she's right. You do work too much. I'm working on it. Are you? Ethan pulled her into his arms. I took the whole day off today. That's progress. One day in how many years? Don't ruin the moment with facts. Claire laughed and let him kiss her. They ended up on the couch again, the city sparkling below them, talking about nothing and everything. Ethan told her about building the company from nothing, about the mistakes he'd made, about the divorce that had shattered him and made him close off for years. I told myself it was better to be alone, he said quietly. Safer. Emma and I didn't need anyone else. We were fine. Were you? No, but I convinced myself we were. His hand found hers. Then you showed up for that interview and you were nervous and brilliant and you had coffee stains on your sleeve. And I thought, this one I have to keep at a distance. Why? Because I knew, even then, that if I let you in, you'd wreck me completely. He kissed her knuckles. And I was right. I haven't wrecked you. You've wrecked every defense I spent years building. You've made me want things I swore I'd never want again. You've turned my carefully controlled life into chaos. He smiled. Best decision I ever made. They talked until midnight when Claire reluctantly said she should go home. Ethan called her a car and walked her down to the lobby, stealing kisses in the elevator like teenagers. Come back tomorrow, he said. For dinner. Emma will ask anyway. I have to work sometime. Bring your laptop. Work from here. I won't distract you. You're distracting me right now. Only a little. He kissed her one more time. Tomorrow, Claire. Promise me. Tomorrow, she agreed. The next few weeks settled into a rhythm that felt almost normal. Claire worked on the Tokyo project, now reporting directly to the board, which was actually less stressful than she'd expected. Patricia, her temporary supervisor, turned out to be demanding but fair. The project was progressing ahead of schedule. At the office, people stared, whispered, gossiped. Claire heard snippets of conversation in the break room about how she'd landed the billionaire and whether it was really true love or just opportunism. Jessica shut down the worst of it with a glare that could melt steel, but the rumors persisted. Let them talk, Ethan said when Claire mentioned it. They'll get bored eventually. And if they don't, then they don't. I'm not hiding you, not anymore. He proved it by having lunch with her in the building cafeteria, where everyone could see, by walking her to her car in the parking garage, by keeping a photo of her and Emma on his desk that made visiting clients do double takes. The board's ethics paperwork meant they couldn't work directly together anymore, but they made it work. Ethan would text her random questions about projects that had nothing to do with her department, just as an excuse to talk. She'd stop by his office with coffee and pretend it was a coincidence. Emma became the center of their routine. Claire started coming to dinner 3 or 4 nights a week. She helped with homework and listened to elaborate stories and learned that glow stars were the most important decoration in any bedroom. You're really good with her, Maggie said one evening when she stopped by with food. Natural. I just listen to her. She makes it easy. Not everyone does. Ethan's dated exactly 2 people since the divorce. Emma hated both of them. She has very strong opinions about who belongs in her dad's life. Maggie smiled. But with you, she lit up immediately. That means something. It meant Claire was falling in love not just with Ethan, but with his entire life. The messy, complicated, wonderful reality of it. But not everything was smooth. They fought about stupid things. Ethan's tendency to work until midnight, Claire's habit of not asking for help when she needed it, whose turn it was to pick up Emma from school. The fights were brief and never quite solved the underlying issues,
but they learned to navigate around each other's rough edges. "You're impossible," Claire told him after an argument about whether she needed to tell him every time she worked late. "You're stubborn," he countered. "We're a disaster."
Yeah, he pulled her close. But we're a disaster together. A month after Vanessa was banned from the building, the Tokyo project hit a major milestone. The first partnership was signed, the contracts finalized, the timeline locked in. The board threw a celebration in the executive conference room with champagne and speeches about innovation and global expansion. Claire stood at the front of the room while the board chairman praised her work, and she felt Ethan's eyes on her from across the space, pride and love, and something that looked like awe. When the formal part ended and people broke into smaller conversations, he found her by the windows. "Congratulations," he said. "You earned this. We earned this. The whole team. Don't downplay it. This was you, your vision, your execution." He handed her a glass of champagne. "I'm proud of you." Claire's throat tightened. "Thank you. I mean it. When I promoted you, I knew you could do the work. But watching you actually do it, seeing you lead that team and solve problems and make this happen?" He shook his head. "You're extraordinary, Claire Monroe. Stop. People are watching. Let them." He clinked his glass against hers. "To the woman who accidentally saw my private photos and somehow ended up changing my entire life." Claire laughed despite herself. "That's the worst toast I've ever heard." "I'll work on it." Jessica appeared at Claire's elbow, grinning. "Okay, I know you're having a moment, but I need to borrow Claire for exactly 2 minutes." Ethan stepped back. "She's all yours." Jessica dragged Claire to a quiet corner. "Okay, so I have news." "What kind of news?"
"The kind where I might have been offered a position at our Tokyo office. Head of regional finance. It's a promotion and it's perfect. And I'd be moving to Japan for at least 2 years. Claire's heart sank and soared simultaneously. "Jessica, that's amazing." "I know. And I'm terrified. And I wanted to tell you before I accepted because you're my best friend, and I can't imagine being on the other side of the world from you, but this is too good to pass up. What? Each give us source." "Oh, take it," Claire said firmly. "Take it and don't look back." "But, no buts. You've been dreaming about international work for years. This is your chance." She pulled Jessica into a hug. "I'll miss you like crazy, but I'll be fine. I have Ethan now, and Emma, and a job I actually like." "You're sure?" "I'm sure. Go be amazing in Tokyo." Jessica squeezed her tight. "You're the best friend I've ever had. You know that, right?" "Same. Now go accept that offer before they change their minds." They stood there for another moment, both trying not to cry at a work function. 2 months later, Claire stood in JFK Airport helping Jessica check her bags for her flight to Tokyo. They'd spent the previous week having every last dinner, seeing every movie, making every memory they could before the distance made it complicated. "Call me when you land," Claire said for the 3rd time. "I will. And you call me when anything important happens. I don't care what time it is there. I promise. And if Ethan does anything stupid, you tell me immediately so I can yell at him from across the world." "He won't. He's a man. They're all stupid sometimes." Jessica grabbed her carry-on. "Take care of yourself, okay? Don't work too hard. Don't forget to eat. Don't let that man consume your entire life." "I won't." "And Claire?" Jessica's voice softened. "Be happy. You deserve it." They hugged one more time, and then Jessica was walking toward security, turning back to wave until she disappeared into the crowd. Claire stood there feeling untethered. Jessica had been her anchor for years, her sounding board, her reality check. And now she was gone. "You okay?" Ethan appeared beside her, Emma's hand in his. "Yeah, just sad." Emma hugged Claire's waist. "It's okay to be sad. Daddy says missing people means you love them. And love is always good, even when it hurts." Claire looked at Ethan over Emma's head. "You say that?" "Sometimes I accidentally sound wise. It's rare." He pulled Claire close. "Come on, let's go home." Home. When had she started thinking of his penthouse as home? The holidays came. Claire spent Thanksgiving with Ethan and Emma and his parents in a meal that was chaotic and perfect. Emma insisted on making a gratitude list where everyone had to say what they were thankful for. When it was Claire's turn, she looked around the table and felt something shift in her chest. I'm thankful for second chances, she said, and for people who see past the masks we wear, and for families that make room for new people.
Maggie's eyes went shiny.
Richard raised his glass. Emma declared it was really good, which was high praise coming from a 7-year-old. And Ethan reached under the table and squeezed her hand. Christmas was even better. Emma's excitement was infectious, dragging Claire and Ethan out of bed at 6 a.m. to see what Santa had brought. The living room was chaos, wrapping paper everywhere, Emma's delighted shrieks, Ethan's coffee-deprived attempts to assemble toys. Claire had brought gifts for both of them. For Emma, an art set and a book about space that immediately became her new favorite thing. For Ethan, a watch he'd mentioned once in passing 3 months ago and probably forgot about. You remembered, he said, staring at it. I remember everything. I know, it's terrifying and wonderful. He kissed her in front of Emma, who made gagging noises but was grinning. His gift to her was a key. Claire stared at it, not understanding. What's this? A key to the apartment. I know you have your own place and I'm not asking you to give it up, but I want you to have this, so you can come and go whenever you want, so this can be your home too, if you want it to be. Emma was watching them with huge eyes. Does this mean Claire's moving in? Only if she wants to, Ethan said, his eyes on Claire. Claire's hands were shaking. This was huge, enormous, the kind of commitment that should terrify her. Instead, it felt like relief. I want to, she said. I really want to. Emma cheered. Ethan's smile was brighter than all the Christmas lights combined, and Claire felt something settle into place that she hadn't known was missing. Moving in was gradual. Claire kept her apartment at first, bringing over clothes and books and random belongings in waves. But slowly, the penthouse became home. Her coffee mug in the kitchen, her favorite blanket on the couch, her books on the shelves next to Ethan's business manuals, and Emma's children's books. They found a rhythm. Ethan still worked too much, but he was getting better at leaving the office at reasonable hours. Claire still struggled to ask for help, but she was learning. Emma thrived with the stability, her confidence growing as she realized Claire wasn't going anywhere. You're really staying? She asked one night during bedtime stories. I'm really staying, Claire promised. Forever? That's the plan. Good. Because I already told Madison you're basically my mom now, and I'd look stupid if you left. Claire's eyes stung. I wouldn't want you to look stupid. Exactly. So you have to stay. Emma snuggled into her pillow. I love you, Claire. It was the first time she'd said it. Claire had to take a moment before she could respond. I love you too, sweetheart. When she left Emma's room, Ethan was waiting in the hallway. She said it, didn't she? How did you know? Because I've been waiting for her to say it for weeks. She told me she loved you a month ago. She's just been waiting for the right moment to tell you. He pulled Claire into his arms. My daughter has better timing than I do. Your daughter is perfect. She really is. And so are you. He kissed her slowly. Thank you. For what? For staying. For loving us. For turning our lives into something I didn't know we needed. His forehead rested against hers. For being brave enough to see that photo and not run away. Claire laughed. That's what you're thanking me for? It started everything. So yeah, he smiled. Best accident of my life. Work continued. The Tokyo project expanded into phase 2. Claire's team grew. She traveled to Japan twice for meetings, and both times Ethan and Emma video called her every night, Emma showing her drawings, and Ethan just wanting to see her face. I miss you, he said on the third night of her second trip. I've been gone for 72 hours. 72 hours too long. You're ridiculous. I'm in love. It's made me soft. But he was smiling. Come home soon. 2 more days.
I'll survive. Barely.
The company thrived. The board was pleased with the Tokyo expansion and started talking about other international markets. Ethan was approached by 3 different business magazines for profiles. He turned down 2 and only agreed to the third because they promised to focus on the company's work rather than his personal life. The article came out in March. It mentioned Claire exactly once, in a paragraph about Callaway Industries' company culture and how Ethan valued promoting from within. She was described as the architect of the Tokyo expansion and a rising star in international business development. That's it? Emma said, reading over Claire's shoulder. They should have said you're pretty and smart and you make good pancakes. That's not really what business magazines focus on, honey.
Then they're doing it wrong.
The second anniversary of Claire's promotion came and went without fanfare. She was too busy with Phase 3 of the Tokyo project to even notice until Ethan mentioned it. 2 years, he said over dinner, since I promoted you and started this whole mess. Best mess of my life, Claire said. Emma looked up from her pasta. Are you guys going to get married or what? Because Madison's parents got engaged after dating for like 6 months. You've been together way longer. Emma, Ethan started. What? It's a reasonable question. Grandma asks me all the time if you've proposed yet. My mother needs a hobby. She has lots of hobbies. You proposing is just her favorite one to talk about. Emma turned to Claire. Would you say yes, if he asked? Claire's heart was racing. I think that's between me and your dad. So that's a yes, cool. Emma went back to her pasta like she hadn't just dropped a bomb in the middle of dinner. Later, after Emma was asleep, Ethan found Claire on the balcony overlooking the city. Sorry about that, he said. She's subtle as a brick. She's fine. She's just excited. She's not the only one. Claire looked at him. What? Ethan pulled a small box from his pocket. I was going to do this differently. Take you somewhere romantic. Plan something elaborate. But Emma's right. I'm taking too long. Ethan, I've been carrying this around for 2 months, waiting for the perfect moment. But then I realized every moment with you is perfect, even the messy ones, especially the messy ones. He opened the box to reveal a ring that was simple and beautiful and exactly what Claire would have chosen. Marry me, Claire. Make this chaos permanent. Claire's vision blurred with tears. That's the worst proposal I've ever heard. I'll work on it. Yes. He blinked. Yes?
Yes, I'll marry you. Yes to the chaos. Yes to all of it. She laughed through tears. But you really need better speeches. He kissed her, and the ring box fell forgotten as he lifted her off the ground. When they finally broke apart, they were both laughing. Emma's going to lose her mind, Claire said. Emma already knows. I asked her permission 2 months ago. She helped pick the ring. Of course she did. They told Emma the next morning. She screamed so loud the neighbors probably called the police. Then she insisted they call Maggie immediately, even though it was 6 a.m. Maggie answered on the first ring. It's about time. I'll start planning the engagement party. The wedding happened 6 months later. Small, intimate, just family and close friends in a garden in the West Village. Emma was the flower girl and took her job so seriously she created a chart showing exactly how many petals to drop per step. Jessica flew in from Tokyo to be Claire's maid of honor. I told you he was worth it, she whispered before Claire walked down the aisle. You did. Thank you for being insufferably right. Always am. Now go marry your billionaire. The ceremony was short and sweet. Ethan cried, which he swore he wouldn't do. Emma cried, which she also swore she wouldn't do. Claire made it through her vows before losing it completely. I promise to love you even when you work too late, she said, to call you out when you're being impossible, to be your partner in all things, even the scary ones, to love Emma like she's mine, and to never ever look at your private files without permission again. The guests laughed. Ethan was grinning through tears. I promise to let you in, he said, even when it's hard, even when I want to control everything, to trust you with my heart and my daughter and my laptop password. More laughter. To love you the way you deserve to be loved, completely, messily, forever. They kissed, and Emma cheered, and somewhere in the crowd Maggie was definitely crying. The reception was at Ethan's parents' brownstone, the garden strung with lights and filled with music. Claire danced with Ethan, with Emma, with Richard, who told her she'd made his son human again. He was so closed off after the divorce, Richard said. I worried he'd stay that way forever, but you cracked him open. Thank you for that. He cracked me open too, Claire admitted. We're even. Later, when Emma was asleep on a garden chair and the guests had dwindled to just family, Claire and Ethan stood at the edge of the celebration, watching everyone they loved. I can't believe we're married, Claire said. I can't believe you saw that photo and didn't run screaming. Are we ever going to stop talking about the photo? Probably not. It's our origin story. The worst origin story in history. Debatable. He pulled her close. I think it's perfect.
You accidentally saw me at my most vulnerable. And instead of using it against me or walking away, you stayed. You fought for us. You loved me anyway. Claire thought about the past 2 years, the fear and fighting and moments when everything seemed impossible, the gradual building of trust, the way Ethan had learned to let her in and she'd learned to ask for help, the way they'd built something real from what started as an embarrassing accident. "I'd do it again," she said. "All of it. Every difficult moment. Even Vanessa? Even Vanessa. Because she taught us to fight for each other, to not let anyone come between us." Speaking of which, Ethan pulled out his phone. "I got an email from Sarah Chen last week. Wanted to thank us for taking down Vanessa. Apparently she got blacklisted from consulting after word got out about the harassment pattern. Sarah got her career back." "That's wonderful." "It is." And she said something that stuck with me. She said sometimes the worst things that happen to us become the catalyst for the best things. That her experience with Vanessa, as terrible as it was, taught her to stand up for herself, to fight back. Claire understood. Like us. Like that photo. Exactly. If you hadn't seen it, I probably would have kept my distance forever, kept pretending I didn't have feelings. We'd both still be miserable and alone. "So you're saying we should thank that photo?" "I'm saying we should stop being embarrassed about it." He kissed her softly. "Our story is messy and imperfect, and it started with an accident. But it's ours, and I wouldn't change a thing." Emma stirred on her chair, mumbling in her sleep. Claire went over and smoothed her hair back, and the girl's eyes fluttered open. "Is the party over?" she asked groggily. "Almost, sweetheart." "Did you and Daddy have fun?" "The best fun." "Good." Emma sat up, rubbing her eyes. "I'm glad you married him. He's much better when you're around, less grumpy, more like a real person." Ethan appeared behind them. "I'm standing right here." "I know. I wanted you to hear it." Emma grinned. "Now, can we go home? I want to sleep in my own bed with the glow stars." They said their goodbyes and headed back to the penthouse. They're home now, all three of them. Emma fell asleep in the car. Ethan carried her inside and Claire followed, taking off her heels in the elevator. After Emma was tucked into bed, they stood in the living room looking out at the city. The same view Claire had seen the first time she'd come here, when everything was uncertain and terrifying. "What are you thinking?" Ethan asked. "That I almost let fear win. Almost walked away because Vanessa made me doubt everything." Claire leaned against him. "I'm glad I didn't." "Me too." He was quiet for a moment. "You know what I learned from all of this?" "What?" "That love isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to be imperfect together. About trusting someone with your mess and believing they'll stay anyway. That's very wise for someone who's terrible at emotions." "I have a good teacher." He turned her to face him. "Thank you, Claire, for seeing me, for staying, for making me believe in this again. Thank you for letting me in, for trusting me with Emma, for being worth fighting for." They stood there in the quiet apartment, the city lights painting everything in soft gold. Somewhere down the hall, Emma was sleeping under her glow stars. Somewhere across the world, Jessica was probably asleep in Tokyo. Somewhere in their past, there was a laptop with a photo that had accidentally changed everything. But here, now, there was just the two of them, imperfect and messy and completely in love. "So what now?" Claire asked. "We're married, we have Emma. The Tokyo project is a success. What's next?" Ethan smiled. "Everything, whatever comes, together. That's not much of a plan. It's the only plan that matters." He kissed her, slow and deep and full of promise. "Everything else we'll figure out as we go." And they did. There were hard days ahead. Emma's middle school years that tested everyone's patience, a recession that threatened the company, family emergencies and health scares, and all the normal disasters that make up a life. But they faced it all together, learning as they went, making mistakes and fixing them, and making new ones. Claire never forgot what it felt like to stand in Ethan's office that first night, frozen with embarrassment and fear, certain she'd destroyed everything. She never forgot the choice she'd made to stay and fight instead of running away. Because that choice, that moment of bravery in the face of humiliation, had led to everything else. To love and family, and a life she'd never imagined possible. Years later, when Emma was older and asked about how her parents got together, Claire would tell her the truth. About the accident, the photo, the embarrassment, the fear. "That sounds terrible," Emma said.
It was, Claire agreed. It was terrible and messy, and I wanted to die of embarrassment. So why didn't you just leave? Because sometimes the best things start with the worst moments. Because your dad was worth fighting for. Because love isn't about perfect beginnings. It's about choosing to stay when things get hard. Emma considered this. So you're saying I should accidentally see someone's private photos to find true love? Please don't. But it worked for you. It did, but I don't recommend it as a strategy. Emma laughed, and somewhere in another room Ethan was laughing too, probably listening. Their story wasn't conventional. It wasn't smooth or polished or the kind of thing romance novels were written about. It was awkward and messy and started with an accident that should have ended everything. But it was real. And it was theirs. And in the end, that was all that mattered.